days to clean up the problems of Floyd in 1999. And Dan, this time already this storm Isabel has left twice as many people in the dark.
Or battered the western panhandle. But coastal devastation came not as much from the wind as from 30 to 40-foot waves that tumbled structures and destroyed beaches.
Rooftops being ripped off their homes, trying to seek any shelter they can get. Other folks about a mile inland we've heard from have about 7 feet of water in some of their homes. Of course, it's a very low-lying area here, and they're having to retreat to the second story from the storm surge flooding. We've heard Highway 90 has probably 7 to 10 feet of water on it.
Transmitting up to where it was possible. Things got really, really bad here, so we had to cut off our transmission. Our backup system went down, and things are really, really serious here in Corozal.
The Vero Beach, Florida. It's like an unwanted guest who showed up and now won't leave. This tropical storm has dumped a tremendous amount of rain on the state. In some spots, 14 inches, which has caused flooding.
Wind, you know?
Oh, wow.
Oh, and I'm kind of a little scared, you know. I'm getting scared now because the wind's coming so heavy.
Well, you don't need to be scared. If I was...
Okay.
Don't be scared, Lone.
Yeah, trembling the window, you know, the door.
Okay, everybody, welcome to yet another hurricane season, 2011. It is June 1st. This is the hurricane season kickoff. Maybe we'll be saying hurricane warning show a lot. I have Derek Sibley next to me here, up from Hollywood, and Bill Phillips is via Skype. We'll get to these two guys in just a minute. I'm your host, Jim Williams. Let me go ahead and get the studio cam going here. And here we are, myself and Derek Sibley here. And Bonzo is just out of the screen, laying on the floor, tearing himself up, just in time for the show. So anyway, appreciate everybody joining in tonight. This is going to be about a 2-hour show tonight. There's a lot of stuff to go over. And, of course, I'm going to give out my top 20 cities and islands I think are going to be affected this hurricane season. I'm going to get into the explanation on how I do that and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes to do that. And we're going to do some giveaways tonight. We have Siberian Ice to give away. We have hurricane playing cards and laminated tracking charts and T-shirts to give away tonight, so feel free to call in. You'll notice the scroller right across the top, right over our heads. That is the telephone number to call in after 8:30. We're not taking any telephone calls till after we finish the opening comments and get the ball rolling here. And then we're going to take your calls throughout the show in between my top 20 picks. So we're glad you joined us tonight. Archive subscribers, you can watch this complete archive. A 2-hour show starting tomorrow. We'll have it uploaded and ready to go for our archive of subscribers. So as I mentioned, this is Derek Sibley next to me. He came up from Hollywood. We're going to get his thoughts on the hurricane season coming up, and then we're going to go to Bill via Skype on his thoughts as well. And then during the show, you call in and you can ask us a question. Any question you feel that we will not be able to answer about the hurricane season or hurricanes in general. For example, a question like, what was the hurricane that killed 74 people back in I'm just giving this as an example, 67 or something like that. That's the kind of questions we're looking for. Don't ask us a question about a hurricane in 1879 out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, because we're not going to know the answer to that. So if it's a reasonable question, we'll go ahead and try to answer it. If we can't answer the question, one of the three of us cannot answer that question, then we'll go ahead and give you the prize of your choice. You can choose between the Siberian Ice, the deck of playing cards, the laminated tracking map, and of course you're going to get a free T-shirt with any one of those things, because we're trying to get rid of the old inventory here at Hurricane City. So anyway, let's before I get started on Derek, let me just mention a few of our sponsors. This is what keeps Hurricane City going during the hurricane season, year-round actually. We do have our Google ads on the site, which help out, and we also have the subscribers. We need subscribers. That is the main backbone funding of Hurricane City. And, in fact, we had one just sign up before the show started today. And we very much appreciate that. That allows you to go back and look at all the archive shows, not just from these type of shows, but when hurricanes hit, I record all the activity that happens on the Internet during hurricanes, and then you can go back and watch the way it was covered on the Internet, because you're going to be without power. You're not going to be watching your television set more than likely, so you can go back and relive the experience in almost a play-by-play fashion through Hurricane City and how it was recorded. That's available to archive subscribers. Also want to mention to people listening up in Massachusetts, sorry to hear your situation today. I don't know if you heard about that, Derek. They had a couple of tornadoes go through Springfield, Massachusetts, causing quite a bit of damage up there. So we hope those people, wish them the best of luck in their recovery up there. It's been a heck of a tornado season. But anyway, just wanted to pop up a few of our sponsors here. And first of all, I want to thank PC Weather Products. This is the HurTrack program. You'll see that used a lot on the hurricane warning shows and our hurricane tropical updates, and all the graphics from the HurTrack program are much appreciated. George Sambatero runs PC Weather Products and produces that program. It keeps getting better and better every year, and we appreciate the continued use of the HurTrack program. So thank you to PC Weather Products. By the way, these links can be found on the front page of Hurricane City. And Star Seal of Florida, they've been sponsoring us since day one, and they're based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They supply all the contractors that deal with asphalt and striping and that type of thing, and they're just they're fans of Hurricane City and help support the site, so we do appreciate their support over the years. And, of course, Early Alert Incorporated, they're the ones that are going to be giving away our prizes tonight. Much appreciate what Early Alert does for Hurricane City. Not only do they take care of our conferences and get us interviews from some of the big people in the hurricane industry. When hurricanes are hitting land, we can get a little deeper insight into what's going on out in the Atlantic, and we do appreciate their help on all this. So anyway, let's go back to Studio Cam. And Derek, thanks for coming up from Hollywood and joining me on the Hurricane Season Kickoff Show. Keep wanting to say Hurricane Warning Show. Maybe it's
spell.
Maybe it's some kind of ominous. I don't know. But anyway, what are your thoughts for the upcoming hurricane season? And what do you are you concerned for any particular area? What do you see happening here?
Well, I think it's going to be like one of those neutral hurricane seasons where it could be a warm neutral, and I think warm neutral years do have a tendency of seeing more landfalls, not only the U.S. but the Caribbean as well. So I think that everyone in the hurricane zone should be at high risk this year for seeing a potential landfall. And I'm actually willing to make a bet as well that the U.S. actually may see a major hurricane this year. Just a Category 3. It doesn't have to be a 4 or 5, but possibly a 3. I mean, we're going, 6 years now without a major?
Yeah, and not only that, I don't know if you read Dr. Gray and Phil Klotzbach report today that just came out, and they have a major hurricane at 73% for the United States. That's really high. I mean, that's usually they're right around 50%, 60% tops. They're up at 73% for a major hurricane strike on the United States this year, so that's pretty impressive. And 10 days of major hurricane force winds out in the Atlantic, which I think they're underestimating that. I think we might see more days where we have a major hurricane in the Atlantic.
Right.
But
I think NOAA's predicting the same thing as well. I mean, well, they're thinking, the U.S. coastline is probably overdue.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we are overdue, definitely. The United States has seen quite a few years without any significant hurricanes, major hurricanes, so it's going to be something to watch. But anyway, we got Bill Phillips, also a.k.a. Charles Krauthammer here via Skype. And let me switch images there. There we are. Bill, let's get your thoughts on the upcoming hurricane season. What concerns you the most going into the season?
I'm concerned about we've gone 6 years without a major U.S. landfall, a major hurricane hitting the U.S. I'm concerned about complacency and just people forgetting the hell that, especially Floridians went through in, 04 and 05, especially 04, 4 hurricanes in a 6-week period. let's not forget that, ladies and gentlemen. The pendulum will swing back, and hurricanes will be back on United States shores.
Yeah, I was looking up the amount of years that go by with no hurricanes hitting the U.S., just going back in history, and you could see there was usually like 6 years, sometimes as long as 8 years between hurricane hits on the U.S., but, we're going on 6 years right now, so we're right about that threshold.
Jim and I did some, we're talking a couple of months back, and theoretically, we could go another year without seeing a major hurricane, but I doubt it. The record is 6 years, but that's only occurred, if my memory serves me from what we were talking about, that's only occurred one other time, that we've gone 6 years without a major hurricane hit.
Yeah, I think it was over a 6 year period. Yeah, that is an incredible stat. And all I can tell you, as far as tonight's predictions are concerned, is even if your city is not mentioned here tonight, that does not mean that you're not going to get hit. In fact, if you go back and look at all my years, even though some of my high risk cities were hit, there were other areas that I did not mention that were hit. So everybody needs to be on high alert this year, especially up in the Northeast. You've gotten quite a few years since you've had to deal with anything significant up there. Don't let that complacency set in. I know, Bill, your area was hit by Isabel and some other named storms since then. South Florida's been hit by tropical storms and hurricanes over the past 5, 6 years, whatever, 7 years, 8 years. But the Northeast is really, really long overdue for some activity up there that's in a significant nature. So everybody needs to pay attention.
Jim, when is the last time the U.S. or the Northeast was hit by a major off the top of your head?
By a major? Well, Bob, I would say Bob, 91.
That's been it. Yeah, Bob was a major. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And let's see, there was another one up there. No, that was it. Bob, right?
That's Bob 91, right?
Yeah, I think that was just Bob of 91.
Okay. Somebody might want to call in and correct us on that, but I think it's 91 was the last major to go up that way. All right, let me get back to some comments about my predictions coming up here because we got a long show tonight. We got 20 cities and islands to go through. And at any given time, Bill, I'm going to pop you up on the screen because we're going to have a caller. Starting at 8:30, we're going to take calls. And if you callers call in, they're going to ask all three of us a question. If one of us can't answer it, they're going to get the prize of their choosing. So be on standby there, Bill, and we'll keep touching base with you.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're back on here we go, back on Studio Cam. All right, I just wanted to take a few minutes here to talk about these city predictions because I've been doing this since 2003, and I don't know if you saw the opening video. Started out with Isabel. I predicted a landfall on the mid-Atlantic coast of a hurricane. Isabel hit 2003. 2004, I predicted the Florida Panhandle was at high risk, and Hurricane Ivan came in there. 2005, everybody heard that one. I predicted there was going to be death and destruction up in the northern Gulf in Mississippi, and sure enough, Katrina came in there and just basically leveled everything. 2006, what did I predict in 2006? That was for Bill, you can chime in whenever you want. 2006, not sure what I predicted that year. No, that was the year that we had a lot of tropical storms up in the Canadian Maritimes. I did predict the Canadian Maritimes are going to get a lot of activity. 2007, Southwest Caribbean. I predicted that area would get hit, and Dean and Felix came down in there. And 2008, well, I'm not going to rehash all these years, but the point is I've been pretty good on these predictions for the top 5 especially. So let me tell you a little bit about how this is done. First of all, the method behind this, I have everything charted out here in my notes, but the most important factor in coming up with what areas are going to be affected is ENSO, and that is the Pacific waters, whether on the East Pacific waters are cooler than normal or warmer than normal. When they're warmer than normal, you have an El Nino event, and when they're cooler than normal, you have La Nina. And this year, in fact, let me I think I have that image on the image of the ENSO forecast. Derek, let me see if I have that. Oh, you know what? I'll have to. You know what? I'll have to do that when I'm done with my comments because I have the prizes that are going to be up on the screen here in a few minutes. So I have my images in order here. So I'll have to skip that idea until we're ready to start doing the. I don't know if we'll be able to see it from your computer because it's the RGB device has gone through that computer, so you won't be able to see it through the network. Well, I got the image. I got the image. It's just in the rotation. We'll get it going. I don't want to disturb the angle and everything over there. So, all right. The first thing is Enzo, as I was saying. We're expecting a slightly, although the models, the latest graphic I showed you the other night, I think you have it on your computer, does show that it's mainly neutral, like 60-70% chance of being neutral throughout the hurricane season, and then slightly below, slightly El Nino-ish would be second place, and then La Nina would be third place. So if anything, it's going to be slightly neutral, just below neutral. And I personally believe that we're going to have 12 to 14 named storms this year. I know Dr. Gray just came out and said 16 named storms today. I think it's going to be more like 12 to 14, a little bit slower, because I think we're going to be a neutral or slightly below, which would be the El Nino type season, which puts Florida at high risk primarily. Well, not primarily, but most specifically at risk. And so I'm predicting, I'm going back in history and looking all the years that we had slightly neutral or just below neutral, and it comes out to 11.7 named storms when that happens. And I go back and look at all the areas that get hit when there's 11.7 named storms, and that's one of my factors. The second factor is whether a city is due or overdue for the effects of a tropical storm or a hurricane, and that can be anywhere from being hit last year. Some cities have a high return rate of double hits. They get hit 2 years in a row a lot, so that factors into it. So just because you were hit last year doesn't mean you're not going to get hit again this year. And there are other areas that are way overdue that are due to be hit, and then there are other years that are just simply due right now based on calculations going back to 1871 to be affected by a named storm. So that plays into it. Then there's another factor I add into it, and that is whether an area gets hit. Like if the last time they were hit was 5 years ago, there's a lot of cities that have average every 5 years it seems like they get hit. It's almost like clockwork. Every 5 years they get hit. And there's a pattern there. Some areas it's every other year they get hit. Some years it's 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3. Like if you go back in history, it's really amazing the trends in some of the cities on whether they get hit or not based on past hit rates. So I factor all that in, and then the final wrench in the gears is whether there's some factors such as South Florida, the dry May theory, and I'll get into that a little bit. And there's some other things like Fred's mentioned about whenever Mexico gets hit, the Northeast gets hit the following year, and stuff like that. Just odd things that people come up with for strange things that are pattern related that indicate that your area might be at high risk. And I know some of you out there, and this I wanted to touch a little bit on this, and this is the criticism of this method. There are people out there that just absolutely hate statistics. They can't stand them. They want to just look at where's the high pressure going to be. Well, guess what? It's June 1st. We don't know where the high pressure is going to be in August and September. So to sit here and talk about the high pressure in June 1st is crazy. And really nobody can tell me. If anybody out there can tell me a better way to tell me where a named storm is going to go 2 months from now, then please let me know about it, because there's really no way anybody can pinpoint on a map where a system is going to be in 2 months from now. But this method right here is the closest thing I've seen to being able to do that. And it's not, obviously it's not perfect, and it never will be, because it's based on a lot of history. And nature repeats itself over and over and over again. And anybody that thinks that doesn't happen is also crazy, because nature has clocks and habits that it does, just like humans do, and we will see things repeating themselves over and over again. Look at the northern Gulf Coast. That's a pretty good example. Camille wiped everything out. Guess what? We can build the houses better. We can make them storm surge proof and all this kind of stuff. It'll never happen again. Sure enough, Katrina came around and did twice as much damage. So anybody that thinks that the past can't repeat itself or even be worse is just because we think we have better buildings and better building codes. You're crazy. I've mentioned this scheme to Phil Klotzbach. I sat down with him at the conference. I sat there and and laid it out for him. This is how I do it. I take the name storms, whether it's Enzo, slightly above, slightly below, blah, blah, blah. I laid it out for him. I even said to Phil, if you wanted to use this and just take it and, just throw me a bone, like give me credit for something, but, because he can get the media attention, I can't. So if he was doing this and he had been doing it for 8 years straight and getting the top cities right that he thought were going to be impacted, I guarantee you the reporters would be chasing him around everywhere. And I told him, you can take this simple idea I have and run with it, but what they do at Colorado State is work on percentages. He takes all the areas along the East Coast, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, and goes county by county and gives percentages on what percent chance he thinks the area has a chance to be hit. And so really nobody can make that out. When you say 38, I think Florida has the highest percentage this year from Phil Klotzbach. It's like 38% of chance of being hit by a hurricane.
Yeah, they do.
So, I don't even know what to make out of 38%. I mean, he doesn't tell you where in the state. 38%, I don't even know what that means. So I like what they do there, but they're so maybe a little bit too math intensive on it that the average Joe can't really make heads or tails of what these statistics, what these percentages mean. And by going city by city like I do, I think it makes a clear understanding for people of what could potentially happen this year. And at the very least, all they do is get extra prepared, and if it doesn't hit, so be it. But I can take that risk. I guess maybe they figure they can't take the risk. The Hurricane Center definitely can't take the risk on saying, if you live in Miami this year, you better batten down the hatches because they'll be criticized if it doesn't happen. So,
Jim, a lot of this is, I think there's a double standard because you don't have a degree. Well, you have.
That's right.
You have 25 years of tracking and living and breathing this stuff. I think you need to be given a little credit for that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that, Bill, because I've been around and round about this with these guys. When I go to the conference, I try to throw it at people every now and then to see what they think of it, and they're so caught up in weather patterns and stuff like that. But when you look at Phil Klotzbach and Dr. Gray, like 80% of what they do is statistical analysis of past history. So why is it that they're always right and they're getting credit for stuff, and when I do it, and narrowing it down even more than they're doing it, it just doesn't resonate with anybody. Like I went to Ken Kay last year from the Sun Sentinel. He writes the blog for the Sun Sentinel. I've mentioned this to him. I even email him my picks every year, and he knows I'm right about it, but he won't do an interview and say, all right, tell me how you do this. Let's tell people how the method is, and just to get them a little educated on it or whatever. There's a disinterest there.
When you email like Ken Kay and all that stuff, you went back into the recent years and told them, this area got hit with these statistics, such as 2003, 04, and et cetera, right? Or did you?
No, I just give him the cities that I picked, and then if he wants to, elaborate, I'd be willing to do that. But
okay.
I just give him the cities I picked, so he can see it in advance. And then when it happens, he can say, okay, you were right. Let me find out more about this. But he hasn't had any interest in it. And here's another stat. Only 10 to 15% of the cities in the Hurricane City database are overdue, meaning that they are overdue. If they get hit once every 5 years, they're on their sixth year. Only 10 to 15% of the cities, since I've been doing this, since I started doing this, are overdue. So that tells you how accurate it is overall. That means 85% of the cities usually get affected within the time that they're supposed to be affected. Insurance companies use this. I've run into numerous databases through my referring stats at Hurricane City that link to that database, but I can't get in there because they require a username and password. So the insurance companies are using the information in that database to put the risk out there of what areas are more vulnerable than others. I think that's huge. And I wouldn't be surprised if people in Vegas use it, too, to gamble on what areas they think are going to be affected during hurricane season. Now, here's another thing. If anybody out there thinks they can beat me at this, you can play pin the tail on the tracking chart, blindfold yourself, walk toward your tracking chart, and pin on the map where you think a storm's going to go.
Or throw darts on the map.
Or throw darts. And if you can beat me by throwing darts and pick your top 5, of course you have to prove it to me. Okay, that's going to be hard to do because somebody could, after the season, start throwing darts at the map and go, see, this is what I did before the season started. And I really don't have any proof that they did it before or after the season, so yeah. I'd have to see it in person. Or they can just let me know before the season starts. Give me your top 5 cities that you think are going to be impacted and your reasoning behind it, and then I'll see. And we'll compare and see how we do at the end of the hurricane season. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention early in the show several things. We have some updates to the news blog page. Have you seen that page, Derek?
Was it the Twitter updates?
The Twitter updates, scroll down, and there's a live video image of the Hurricane Center next to that. That's on the news blogs page, on the front page of Hurricane City. Use the drop-down menus, and you can choose news blogs, and it's a pretty cool page. It's great to use during the hurricane season because you get all the live Twitter updates from all over the internet and the live video from the Hurricane Center right side by side. You can't beat that.
I believe, what was it? The live Hurricane Center, that was the last storm they were showing was Thomas.
Yeah, that was from recording from last year. I think they only update it when there's active stuff going on. And I think there'll be live stuff and videos on that feed as well. That's from AEN Network. Brian Norcross is involved with that. Let's see. We have a new webcam, IP cam at Hurricane City. Right up here on the tower cam, it's got night vision. I'm not going to show it to you right now, but you can check that out. It's on the cam page, again, in the drop-down menu on the front page of Hurricane City. Just choose. It's under the Multimedia tab. Drop-down menu, you choose webcam, Delray Cam or whatever. I think it says webcam, Hurricane City cams, and you pull it up and click on that image of the cam shot, and it'll open up a player, and you choose guest and guest is your username and password, and you can watch the live video. You can pan in and out, zoom all over the place. It'll be a real fun cam to use during hurricanes, and we'll have it on hurricanecity.tv, but it may not be live for viewers. It'll only be live on hurricanecity.tv because we need to have access to it during the shows. And we have a poll up at Hurricane City. Is your area ready for a Hurricane Katrina-type event? And I think, let me see if I have that. Oh, yeah, I do have that. That's a browser. Let me open that up and show you that real quick. Yeah, here it is. There's the poll we've been asking people for a while now. Is your community ready for a Hurricane Katrina-type event? I think Bill came up with that question. And the respondents so far is 56% say no way that their area is ready for a Hurricane Katrina-type event. 30% said they have their doubts, and 14% said yes, they're ready. So basically 85% of the people don't think that their city is basically ready for a major hurricane, which is a pretty scary thing, considering that we have a 73% chance, according to Dr. Gray and Phil Klotzbach, of a major hurricane hitting the U.S. this year. So keep that in mind, if whatever your area you're in. Be prepared
Honest numbers, though. Honest numbers.
Yeah, I think they're honest numbers. I think people want to believe that their area is ready, but I think most are common sense know that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention. Then I want to get to the prizes we're giving out tonight, and that is my predictions. When I make my predictions at the end of the show, I'm going to make a bet, and I'm not going to tell you what the bet's going to be because I have to tell you my city predictions before I make the bet. But one of my top 5 will be hit this year, and I'm going to make a bet on that, and I'll be more specific after I make my picks. But I want you to email me. It's scrolling at the top of the screen there, jim@hurricanecity.com. Email me and let me know what you would like me to dress as right here in the studio on the end-of-season broadcast. I'm going to leave it up to the audience. I had a couple of ideas, but I'm going to let the audience decide. Email me, jim@hurricanecity.com. Let me know what you would like me to dress as. I don't care if it's – because we're going to try to retire the chicken suit. That's getting kind of stale. So
do a dog.
Yeah,
bulldog. My school mascot is a bulldog. Every once in a while you'll see a guy in the bulldog. It's pretty hilarious.
Okay, bulldog. Yeah, I guess a bulldog. I was thinking about maybe a pirate or, I could dress as the Cookie Monster from Sesame Street. I mean, there's all kinds of things, ideas popping in my head. There's a million things I could dress as. I could dress as the National Hurricane Center director, have a little pencil thing in my pocket.
There you go.
No, I don't. There's nothing wrong. Bill Reed looks normal, so that wouldn't go over very well. But anything that comes into your mind, except naked. I'm not going naked tonight, so don't even know. I mean, not tonight, but the end of season broadcast.
Dress as a hurricane symbol too.
That'd be kind of hard unless it's made out of cardboard. Like I wouldn't be able to sit down.
Suffer.
Yeah, there's a million things. Just email me and let me know what you'd like me to dress at. And if we get to more than one respondent that's the same, I'll try to do my best to dress as that. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right this year, so it doesn't really matter anyway. I'll be right. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's get to our prizes tonight we have for you. I think you're really going to enjoy these. Let me get my notes on the prizes here, and there they are. Got my dry May notes here too. I'm going to mention that too. All right, let me get our first prize up here. It's the Siberian Ice, and this is a product that is non-hazardous chemicals, and a Siberian Ice pack will absorb energy within minutes of the pack being placed into a sub-zero freezer. Simply place the ice into the freezer for a minimum of 48 hours before a hurricane is on the way. And whenever an unexpected long-term power outage occurs, Siberian Ice will instantly emit sub-zero temperatures and maintain the frozen foods for an extended period of time. Actually, she might be. Actually, I had the wrong image up there, folks. Sorry about that. It's unlocked over there. Anyway, the packs will instantly emit sub-zero temperatures and maintain the frozen foods for an extended period of time. Within a day of its use, you will see Siberian Ice packs can be reused hundreds of times without any loss of performance. Now, we also have Hurricane playing cards. This deck of playing cards here will be a lot of fun for people to play at their poker games. This deck of playing cards shows the deadliest, costliest, and most intense tropical cyclones from 1851 to 2006. So enjoy your next poker game while learning hurricane history. And, of course, we're also going to be giving away the laminated hurricane tracking chart from Maptrax.com. And so you can choose from any one of these three items, and then we'll throw in a Hurricane City T-shirt along with it. Now, these will be the T-shirts, the old-style T-shirts that have the old logo on them. Some of them just have the logo on the front, right above the pocket. Some of them don't even have a pocket. We're just getting rid of all that old merchandise, so we'll throw that in with whatever of these three prizes you choose. So call in on the number at the top of your screen and let us know. Ask us a question and see if you'd like to win one of these prizes. Ask us a question about anything hurricane related, and we'll put you through on the air. And if you can stump the panel here, myself or Derek Sibley or Bill Phillips, with a question that you think we can't answer, then you will win the prize. So give us a call. The calls start now. Go ahead and call in. And anytime during the show here, we'll take your call. Chris from Daytona.
What's Barbara's cousin?
Huh. That's news. I didn't know that was taking place. All right, folks, we have somebody at the door that was unexpected, so I've got to go. I'm putting the Enzo. I have the Enzo graphic up there. Go ahead and talk a little bit about the Enzo, Derek, while I take this entry at the door here.
All right, so Jim's going to go by the door. Unexpected guest arrived, but what you're looking at there on your screen is the IRI, or the International Research Institute. I think that's what it stands for probabilistic Enzo forecast for the Nino 3.4 region. And basically, you can see all the green bars. They all indicate neutral Enzo conditions throughout the eastern Pacific Basin. And it looks like through all the way from June, July, August, all the way up through, possibly before the 2012 year starts, we're going to be out the neutral year. So that's a little interesting. I think that's the highest chances for the neutral. And it's all did you get it?
So, yeah, he's going to come in. He's going to say hello for a few minutes.
Okay.
He knew we were doing the show tonight.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, have a seat. We'll just,
Yep.
Let me get in the middle of saying. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, it was just, all the green bars, they all indicate, it's all going to be above normal chances for neutral Enzo conditions, above the 50% line. So, it's a good chance that we're going to see neutral this season.
All right, we have a visitor here in the studio. Chris, come on over. And you're down from Daytona Beach, and you were doing a delivery down here. You used Hurricane City in the past, and you decided you'd come in and say hello. Come on in camera view here. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you.
All right, so are you ready for hurricane season? Let's face the camera.
Not yet. I hope it.
You worried? Are you worried about it?
A little bit. I'm a little worried.
Okay. Now Daytona. When was the last system you had up there? It was Faye in 2008, right?
It was the one that was circling right off our coast, and we got it for rain for 3-4 days in a row. It was terrible.
Yeah, you had like 15 inches of rain or something up there.
Major floods. It was just a disaster.
Right. All right. Well, come on over here off the screen. Just stay right in here. Let's just have a seat right there. Derek, why don't you have a seat and I'll stand right next to you. Everything down, we're all on film, so it's kind of a tight screen here. Yeah. Anyway, so you're down here delivering. You drive a truck and you're down doing some deliveries. Thought you'd stop on by.
Yep, I sure am.
All right. Yep. All right. So, how's your community overall like about hurricanes? Do they think about it at all, or is it kind of like it's been so long we don't even really think about it?
We don't think about it. We don't. I mean, there's no thought until that actually happens, and then people decide they're going to start thinking about it. Yeah. You know, after one happens, okay, yeah, then we start thinking about it. But, you know, we had those, the one where we got hit by Charles came up the other way, and that kind of messed up our house. Then we had the other one that hit, and then we had the other one that hit the week later and annihilated. We had our roofs ripped off. We've had...
Charlie, you mean by Charlie?
Charlie. Yeah. We had all the other ones. I mean, we had a lot of mess.
Yeah, Charlie was a beast. It went all the way through the state went through Port Charlotte and then cut across the state, went through Orlando, went right up through Daytona. I'm just watching to make sure we don't have any calls here. And it did a number on your house, too. So, everything's back to normal there now, pretty much?
Yep, it's all back to normal. And like I said, nobody ever thinks about it until it happens. And they should at least be prepared.
Right. Well, Daytona, you're I can't release my top 20 while you're here. I haven't done it yet. I'm just about to release it. I don't want to tip off anything here, but there is one city in Central Florida I do have in my top 20. So that's, Florida is, I think, at high risk this year because of the neutral ENSO conditions, which means there's not El Nino or there's not La Nina. It's kind of neutral, and that's when Florida gets hit a lot in history. So this could be the year. Everybody needs to be careful in Florida this year. All right, again, you can call in at any time. The phone number is scrolling across the top of the screen. And if you get actually, I have a call waiting disabled. So if you call in and it goes right to voice mail or something, just call back again and try to get through. Again, you have to ask us a question that we don't know how to answer. And if we don't answer it right, then you win the prize. Anything about hurricanes in history or any question about hurricanes that you know the answer to, call in and ask us, and we'll see if we can get it right and give away some of these prizes. We're giving away Siberian Ice, which are ice packs you can stick in your refrigerator, in your freezer before a hurricane hits. And these, like a normal ice pack, you freeze ice and it melts pretty good, and like in 24 hours it's useless. This stuff stays frozen for like 7 days. And it's a little pack. It's like this big. And you stick it in your freezer, and then when the power goes out, you put it in your refrigerator, and it keeps everything cold for about 6-7 days. That's good if you're evacuating. You're going to leave your house. You don't want all your meat and stuff in your refrigerator to rot, so it's a good idea to have that. And we're giving away these playing cards. I actually have one laying there right on top of there we go. Hurricane playing cards, courtesy of Early Alert. They give all the there's every hurricane since 1850, not every hurricane, but a lot of the hurricanes since 1851, stats on how many people died, how much damage there was, what the ranking of each hurricane is. Hurricane playing cards, courtesy of Early Alert. So if you call in, you can either win this, or you can win the Siberian Ice or the laminated hurricane tracking chart. So give us a call anytime. And I'm going to go ahead and actually, Derek, let me see something here. Got my ticking time bomb as my first pick. You know what? Derek, just talk a little bit more about Enzo for a second. Let me see if I can get Barbara up here.
Have to switch microphones now. Yeah.
Derek, may I ask Chris?
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. Hold on a minute.
What is your most memorable hurricane and why in Central Florida? Either from a child or recently. You might have already answered it.
I would say it was the one. I would say the one that circled right off of Daytona. It just sat there and wouldn't move, and it actually it might not have caused so much damage, but flooding wise, it was terrible.
Okay, go ahead, Derek.
So I mean, basically, again, before it's all showing neutral throughout the whole hurricane season. As Jim said before, the La Nina and El Nino chances are just going to be well below the normal, at least higher than normal for neutral, rather than you seeing an El Nino La Nina season. I was told though, like in the 2012 season, it's possible you could see La Nina hurricane season once again, but that's way too early to tell. But that's a possibility. It might go La Nina again. What do you think, Bill?
I'm thinking more along the lines of neutral to an El Nino first. That usually likes to cycle around before going back to true La Nina. So we'll have to see on that. I mean, let's get through 2011 first, Derek.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let me go ahead and start with my picks. First is the ticking time bomb. A lot of people like to ask me about my ticking time bomb. These are cities that I like to pick that are really way overdue to be hit by a hurricane. These are cities that have long stretches between hurricanes, but yet they're still way overdue. And this is an alarming stat. And my ticking time bomb for this year is Tampa, Florida. And they get hit once. I think it's about once every 20-some-odd years they get hit by a hurricane directly. They don't get hit that often, but they're 38 years overdue to be hit. So that's a long time to be overdue for a hurricane. Now I'm talking a hurricane directly coming into Tampa as a hurricane, not a tropical storm that's weakened from coming from the Atlantic side, because they've had quite a few of them. Okay, we do have a caller? Okay, I'm sorry. We got to pay attention to the light here. Anybody that wants to call in, call back. I apologize. We weren't paying attention to the ringer here, so try come. There's probably been about 10 people that have tried to call already. We're not paying any attention. Yeah, we don't want to give away anything tonight. Just keep calling all night. All right, Tampa is the ticking time bomb. 38 years overdue for a hurricane. So keep that in mind if you live in Tampa. And there's a couple of other cities in my top 20 that are near there, so keeping that in mind. And that's why I chose Tampa Bay this year. Tampa as the ticking time bomb. That's the one you really need to be worried about. Okay, here is my number 20 pick, and that is Deerfield Beach, Florida. That is just south of my location. Okay, now we have the caller. Okay, we have a caller on the line.
Yes.
All right, where are you calling from tonight?
Port Orange, Florida.
Where?
South Daytona.
Oh, South Daytona. Okay. Okay, well, that's where Chris is from. He's standing right here from Daytona Beach, so he got your neighbor here. All right, you have a question for us to stump the panel, or you just want to make a comment?
I guess it'd be a question to stump the panel. Is there any correlation between the active tornado season and an active or lesser hurricane season?
No, not that I've seen. There's been a couple of years where there's been active tornado outbreaks that have. There's also been some major hurricanes hit, but there's been far more seasons where that didn't happen. So I'm inclined to believe it doesn't really have any difference, make any difference whatsoever. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion anyway. Derek, you have any opinion on that? Or Bill?
I agree with you. I mean, I spoke to Jim Leonard about the same thing because he chases both hurricanes and tornadoes. He said there's no correlation whatsoever at all. I mean,
yeah.
It's all based on the Enzo, I think. So yeah, Bill, go ahead.
Agreed.
Okay, do you want to stump the panel?
Well, if you answer my question, I don't think nothing off the top of my head right now.
Come on, just think of anything, just for the heck of it. You're the first caller tonight. Something you know the answer to.
Not off the top of my head. Sorry.
All right, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and email me your mailing address. I'll get a T-shirt out to you anyways.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, thanks.
All right. Good luck this hurricane season. All right. Anyway, I was on number 20, and this is okay. Now we have another caller. Missed him. Darn. Call back, caller. Okay, number 20 is Deerfield Beach. That's just to my south here. Now, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the way I do this is years that where there's been 11.7 named storms are the and areas that were hit during years where there's 11.7 named storms are the years that usually the cities that get hit during those types of years where there's around 12 named storms, which is what I'm expecting this year. Here's the caller again. Is the caller there this time?
Yes.
All right. Who is this?
This is Steve Long.
Okay, Steve, where are you calling from tonight?
Webster, Texas.
Oh, to Texas. Okay. All right. And are you near the coast somewhere?
Clear Lake, yes. We're 20, 25 miles from the coast.
Okay, so you were affected by Ike then pretty good.
Yes. Yes, we were.
Did you get any damage at your location from Ike?
Trees, fence, roof, things like that. Nothing real major. We were in a mandatory evacuation zone, and a lot of people left, of course, but I didn't. I stayed. I was actually in Galveston with some of my storm chasers friends, and then got back to the mainland before Friday. Before it got dark Friday, because it hit Saturday morning early.
And did you have any flooding in your area?
We did. I live just off of 45, which is the main artery down to Galveston, and my neighborhood floods pretty quick, and then it'll go down pretty quick as it drains into some of the bayous in the area.
Okay.
But no water in the house.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. Steve, did you want to try to stump the panel here, throw a question at us, and try to win one of these prizes?
Yeah. I heard a question the other day. Name the 9 hurricanes that hit the upper Texas coast since 1950.
Okay, the 9 of them that hit the upper Texas coast.
Yes.
Okay, let me think about this.
That would not include Brownsville, Corpus.
Okay, let's get our...
Alicia's one.
Wait, which one did you say, Bill?
Alicia.
Well, let's start in order here. He's saying the last 9, so let's go maybe in reverse. Or I guess they don't have to be in reverse. All right, let's start. Okay, you got Alicia. That's one of them.
Double check me on this. Carla?
Would that be considered, Steve, or is that the lower Texas?
Yes. Yeah, because it's north of Corpus.
Okay, Carla. And we had, what was the one that just hit a few years ago?
Ike's number 3. That's 3.
Which one?
Ike.
Ike, right, Ike. We were just talking about that.
Not Dolly.
No, Dolly is the lower Texas coast. Let's see. We had, oh my gosh, that storm is slipping my mind. A few years ago, it came right into Port O'Connor.
Kennedy County.
09 season? Or 08?
That was before.
Here, Jim, help me.
We got until the music runs out. That's about another minute.
Looks like you're getting your prize, caller.
Oh, come on. Why am I drawing a blank here? No, Brett would Brett count? No?
No, Brett.
Umberto? No,
yeah, Umberto.
Okay, yep.
Umberto.
That's 4.
Claudette.
Claudette was always a tropical storm. So the question was that they were hurricanes.
Okay.
Lily fell apart, correct?
Which one?
Lily.
Lily.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man. Let's see, Dolly, Carla.
All right. What about Rita? What about Rita? Did that brush by there? No.
Yes, it came right up the Sabine River, which technically was on the Texas side.
Okay. So
give me Rita.
Okay. Celia. Celia, too far south?
I think that's too far out, yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the ones I had.
What about Betsy 65? No?
That was Louisiana.
Yeah.
All right, we lost. You win the prize. All right, Steve.
I got Carla, Alicia, Chantal, Jerry, Bonnie, Rita, Ike, Umberto.
Oh, Rita. God, how do you forget that?
Oh,
you did?
Yeah, we got Rita. We had five of them. So Chantal was one of them we didn't get. What were the other ones?
Jerry. Chantal and Jerry were both 1989 storms.
Jerry.
Bonnie was 1986. Okay. Rita 2005. Ike 2008. Umberto 2008. Carla, Alicia, Chantal, Jerry. There's one more. I have them on my phone.
I got 7 here written down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. That was a great question, though. I love questions like that.
That was good.
Yeah, well, I
You
watched
made us
all the
think. That's great.
shows this week, and that was from one of the local Mets.
Okay, that's good. Well, what would you like to get? The Siberian Ice or the playing cards or the laminated mapping tracking map?
The playing cards.
Okay, I
Those
knew
are
that
really
was going to
cool.
be. All right, playing cards it is. And I'm going to send a T-shirt with that, too. So you'll get that out. We'll get that out this week. What day is it today? Today's Wednesday. Probably, maybe by Friday or Monday it'll go out to you.
Okay, that's
so
awesome.
Email me your mailing address. We'll get it right out to you, Steve.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, good luck
Enjoy
this
the show.
hurricane season.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank
Bye.
you. All right, that was a good call. That was a great question.
You know,
I
it
love
sucks
that.
because I wasn't alive in 1950.
Well, yeah, but you still got to know your hurricane history.
No,
I mean,
know.
I know a lot of
I've
the
been
ones
17,
in the 30s, and
I'm only 17 years old, but you know, I'm getting.
You remember the 35
I know a lot of
hurricane?
them.
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
we have another caller on the line. Okay, caller, where are you calling from?
Palm Coast, Florida.
What was the city in Florida? I didn't quite hear that.
Palm Coast.
Oh, Palm Coast. Okay, so you're up on the east side, up
just
in
north of Daytona Beach.
Yeah, that's good. That's another area that's
Yeah,
pretty
we're way
vulnerable.
overdue.
Yep.
I'm from Daytona Beach originally.
Okay. Palm Coast. People think about hurricanes much up there?
Hell no.
No.
They all go. It's not going to happen here. And I'm the guy at school who's sitting there like, watch, one's going to hit. I'm going to laugh when you guys are all in the hospital or worse. And I'm the one who said, should have listened to me.
That's right. You're the one that's prepared, ready to go, and they're not thinking about it.
I'm the one forecasting it too.
Wow, you work at the Weather Service, or?
No. I work at a private forecasting company while I'm working my way through high school.
Okay. All right, good deal. All right, you want to take a shot at us here with a question?
Yeah, I had a friend ask me this, but I honestly couldn't answer with any scientific accuracy. Do you guys, well, it was to me, do you believe tropical cyclone activity in the Atlantic Basin is starting a little earlier and ending later than the official start and end of the hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin?
Well, now this isn't a question for one of the prizes because it has to be a statistical fact type of like something that already has an answer to it more than an opinion. So you'll have to think of a question that's already like a fact. But my opinion on that though is that no, I don't think we're seeing anything that would indicate we're starting earlier and ending later. That's just my personal opinion. Derek, you have an opinion on that?
No, because it's just every hurricane season goes in cycles. So, some years you'll see some seasons start early, some you'll see end, later, or you can have a hurricane season that will start early and end pretty late.
Bill, any opinion on that?
No, I pretty much agree with what Derek and you have said. I mean, every hurricane season is different,
right?
And they each have their own unique characteristics and cycles. We'll just have to see how this one evolves. There's really no way to know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because, if you look back to 2005, I believe the final tropical cyclone dissipated December 3rd.
Yeah, but that was an extremely active hurricane season that lingered
true. That
on,
was an extremely active year. I was in Venice. That was a fun storm.
Well, you want to try to take a crack at us, though, to ask a question you already know the answer to about the hurricane season, see if we can answer it?
Not sure of one right now. Let me think of one. I'll call back.
Yeah, just call back. Come up with something that you already know the answer to and see if we know the answer to it. And we don't want to give away some of this stuff. But in the meantime, email me your address. I'll get a T-shirt out to you anyways.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Hold on, let me get your...
Yeah, it's Jim at hurricanecity.com.
What is it?
Jim at hurricanecity.com.
All right. All right, thanks. I'll send that out to you.
Yeah, and call back if you come up with a question.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right.
All right, that was a caller from Palm Bay, Florida.
When was the last time they actually got hit?
Palm Bay, Florida. They had Faye in 2008. That's up the same area as Daytona. Mm-hmm. And then before that was Francis and Jean really did quite a number up there, even though it was well south of there. Like my sister has a place up in New Smyrna, and it got destroyed from Francis. The storm surges came in there and just wrecked everything.
Right.
So it was bad up there.
Wasn't Francis and Jean like a brush hit for
It
them?
was a brush for them.
Right.
The last direct hit was, well, let's
That's
see,
what I was-
David went through there in 79.
Yeah.
David, I would say David, because all the rest since then have been tropical storms.
Right.
And, of course, Charlie went across the state from 2004, went across the state and went up near there, too.
Although it was much weaker, but still a hit. And you got a caller, too.
But, okay, we got another caller on the line. All right, caller?
Yes.
All right, where are you calling from?
Calling from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Gulfport, Mississippi.
Nice.
Now, were you there for Katrina?
Yes, I was. I was actually north of the interstate up in the Orange Grove area.
Oh, my God. Did you lose your property, or you're a
No, actually I didn't. Actually, all we had was a little roof damage on our. We just had a little roof damage, a little water damage inside our apartment that we was at, but it wasn't major.
Okay, so you got pretty lucky on that one. But what were the winds like up there in Gulfport?
We actually had trees falling all around the house we were in. We had several tornadoes in the area that we were in. We could hear them. We could feel the whole house shaking. It was pretty scary and pretty crazy at times. We actually got on the back porch and watched a lot of it. And we sat in the hallway and prayed, and we were protected that night. I believe in prayer after that night for sure.
Yeah.
Because we went outside and saw trees laying out all around the house, and none of the house that we were staying at, and none of the trees actually hit the house.
Wow, you're very lucky. And how many miles is this inland?
It's north of Interstate 10, so it's pretty good. I guess about several miles. I'm not sure exactly how many miles it was north. It was 4 miles from the beach, probably.
Wow. How is the area recovering down there in Gulfport? I mean, is it pretty much like back to normal? Is there still a lot of damage there?
Oh, it's actually getting a lot better. We're actually, if you go on the beach now, there's a lot of condos coming up. A lot of the casinos are back in full effect. Not a lot of people are rebuilding on the beach, but there's a lot of condos coming up on the beach.
Are any of those trees coming back? There were a lot of trees that took a beating there.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees that are gone that hadn't came back. But it's been a while since I've been on the beach. But,
all right. Well, did you want to take a shot at the question for us to stump the panel?
Actually, I did. How many? Let's see here. How many actual major hurricanes hit in the year of 1955, and what were their names and their wind speeds?
Okay, Bill, did you hear that? How many major hurricanes hit in 1955, and what were their names? All right, I'll say Edna is one of them.
Edna.
55. I'm drawing a blank here. Derek?
Carol?
No.
Hurricane Carol?
No, that wasn't one of them. I'm looking at them on. I'm actually on Weather Underground. Found my information.
Okay. Let's see, 55. You had Edna. I thought it was Edna, Carol. Inez?
I don't see Inez on here.
Okay.
Betsy?
55.
No, that's 65.
Betsy was
60s.
Betsy was 56 in 1965.
This is 1955, actually.
55. Okay. 1955. Carol Inez. Wow.
Did I stump the panel?
Yeah,
you got a good question.
Almost. We're running out of
right now.
We're running out of time. Bill, come on, help
Bill,
us there, buddy.
You got to save us, Bill. Let's go.
I got you up on Skype here. Come on.
I'm drawing a blank on the 55 one. Sorry.
Oh man, these are good questions, though. Let me see. Keith, not Keith. Gosh.
I need to brush up on my hurricane history. This can't happen.
Yeah, this shouldn't be happening to me. I should be better than this. 55. Come on.
You said don't go back in the 1800s, but you didn't say nothing 1900s.
Yeah, yeah, there's a limit. I mean, well, we'd go back to maybe 1900. Anything in the 1800s, forget it. Gosh. All right. I think we're just about out of time here. All right, go ahead and lay them on us. What are the ones?
Okay,
How many?
Number one is Major Hurricane Connie, and the wind speed was 145. The second one is Major Hurricane Diane with 120 mile an hour winds. The next one is Major Hurricane Hilda, 125 mile an hour winds. Major Hurricane, I think that's Lone, L-O-N-E, 120 mile an hour winds.
Ione.
Major Hurricane Janet was 175 mile an hour winds. Wow, that was a powerful one. And Major Hurricane Katie, 115 mile an hour winds.
You know what? I wasn't understanding the question. I was thinking U.S. landfalls. That was my fault. I should have been thinking the whole Atlantic Basin because I remember Janet definitely.
Oh, I didn't. I guess I didn't really.
Yeah, I was focusing on the Mid-Atlantic instead of the whole Atlantic Basin.
There was a J storm that slipped my mind.
That's a great question, caller. Okay, which prize would you like to get?
What was the prizes again?
Okay, we had the Siberian Ice packs, which are packs. There's a 5-pounder that you can stick in your freezer, and when a hurricane's coming, it freezes up, and then you switch it to your refrigerator, and it'll last for like 7 days. Keep your refrigerator cold.
Oh, okay.
Or the hurricane playing cards. It's a deck of playing cards that has the hurricane history of all the hurricanes in history on the back with how many people died and the stats and everything. Or you can get a laminated hurricane tracking chart.
The Siberian Ice actually sounds good.
Siberian Ice, you got it. Go ahead and drop me an email, jim@hurricanecity.com. Give me your mailing address.
On your website.
Yeah,
I actually called last year too. I don't think you did the stump thing last year. My question though was that was just stumping. But my question is, what is? I know you're going to be doing the picks and everything, and I don't want to try to get you to give away the picks or nothing. But the northern Gulf Coast, anywhere from like I'd say Morgan City, Louisiana, over to Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. What is the chances of a major hurricane hitting that area this year?
You know, I really don't have that area as a high risk this year.
You don't?
In years past, I've had it at high risk, and there's one major reason for that, and that is that when there's a really active hurricane season expected, like when we're in La Nina conditions, the northern Gulf Coast gets slammed. And we're not expecting that this year, so I don't have them at high risk up there in the northern Gulf Coast. Now, again, that doesn't mean something can't slice through Florida and head up right your way, so I'd be careful of that. But I do not have anything up there in my top 20. Of course, I just lost a fraction of the audience.
So nothing even brushing us? Or?
No, I think they're actually. Let me look on my list. No, I don't have anything directly around your area there that I have at high risk in the top 20 this year.
Is that for just named storms or for hurricanes?
For named storms.
Okay. So we're looking pretty good this year then, according to...
According to me, but again, I keep emphasizing, just because I don't mention your city or area doesn't mean you're not going to get hammered this year. It's just my opinion based on mathematical stats from the past.
Yeah, I think, was it the guy, Steve Lyons from the Weather Channel said, if you get one storm, that's a bad season for you?
That's right. It only takes one.
If you get one storm, you've had a bad season.
And sometimes it doesn't even take a hurricane. It could be a tropical storm just dumping tons of rain in your area and flood everybody out. So
yeah.
You should have
but anyway,
Allison
that's
teach
the
you a
only
lesson.
questions I had, and I'll email you and give you my information.
Yeah, give me your mailing address and the prize that you wanted, so I can differentiate. You know which prize you wanted, and then I'll send a T-shirt out to you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Good luck this hurricane season.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. I haven't even got past.
We're kind of getting bombarded here.
What's that?
I said we've only gotten through one of the picks.
Yeah, I know. We just got another caller now too. All right, caller, go ahead.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Good. Who is this?
This is Bryant from Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay, Asheville, North Carolina. That's you're inland there, so
yeah.
You still have an interest in hurricanes, though.
Oh, definitely. I'm in high school, graduating this year, and hopefully become a meteorologist and college and go from there.
Sounds good. Now, Asheville's quite a ways out. How far are you from the coast?
Quite a ways, at least 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's western North Carolina, Jim. He's way back. That's out in the mountains.
Yeah. So,
correct.
Yeah, you get the remnants coming in there every now and then, I guess, but not the full-fledged hurricanes.
Right.
All right. Did you have a question for us to stump the panel?
Yes, I think I do. I mean, I didn't know this one, but I want to see if you guys know it.
All right, throw it at us.
Go ahead.
What was the northernmost tracking tropical cyclone in the Atlantic Basin, as well as if you know the distance it traveled?
Can you repeat the question, Jim, if you heard him?
Yeah, go ahead one more time to repeat it.
Okay, what tropical cyclone was the northernmost tracking tropical cyclone in the Atlantic Basin, and also if you know the distance it traveled?
Wow. The most northern named storm or hurricane that traveled in the Atlantic Basin.
Correct.
Wow, I gotta be honest, I don't know that one.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Now, are we talking? Can we ask you some clues?
Sure.
Is this in the 1900s?
Yes.
Okay. Is it past 1950?
Yes.
Okay, northernmost track. Would it be Earl?
Nope.
Is it in the year 2005?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Did he say it was in the 50s?
Did you say it was in the 50s?
It was in the 60s.
Oh, the 60s.
60s. Okay, that narrows. Let's see, 60s. Betsy?
Nope.
Donna. No, Donna.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. I would have. Did this system make landfall?
This did not make landfall in the United States.
Was it near the Canadian Marine Times?
Nope.
Diane? No, that was in the 50s.
Nope.
60s. Camille? Was it Camille? No. Did he say it did or didn't hit land? It did?
No, it didn't hit land.
Didn't hit
But
land.
was it like near the Canadian Marine Times?
It
Remember,
stayed
gentlemen, this did not
pretty
affect
much
the US.
far away from coast. The closest it came to North Carolina, but it did not make a landfall.
All right. Phil, I'm coming to you, Crowdhammer. You better have an answer.
Nothing. Damn.
These are hard questions tonight. My God.
Wow.
Fish storm.
Yes, it was. It was a fish storm.
1960s. That's it. You won the prize.
What do you want?
It was Hurricane Faith in 1966.
Faith.
What?
Faith, wow. Never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a hurricane. I remember seeing it on a tracking map. I just wasn't thinking, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
All right, what would you like to win? The Siberian Ice or the playing cards?
Do you still have the tracking chart?
Yeah, the laminated tracking chart, courtesy of Maptrax.com. Sure, we can get that out to you.
Yeah, that's what I'd like.
All right, good enough. Go ahead and drop me an email, jim@hurricanecity.com, with your mailing address for the tracking map, and we'll get it right out to you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah, and good luck in your school coming up, going to college, and, I wish you the best of luck in that, and, keep in touch with us.
Thank you so much.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Okay, take care. Bye now.
Bye.
That was fun, man. These are
What
tough
was the answer
questions.
to that
Usually because
question
when
again?
they're fish storms, it's like you stop tracking them and you don't care about them
All
sometimes.
right, we got another call. We're never going to get to our picks here, but that's pretty funny. Actually, let me get the studio cam back going here. All right, we got another caller on the line there.
Yes, it's Justin Newberger calling from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Port St. Lucie. Now that's up near that's north central Florida. Central Florida. Port St. Lucie. What city are you near?
I'm near Fort Pierce.
Fort Pierce.
Probably White City, kind of close to the coast.
Okay. Fort Pierce, Florida. That is an area that may be in my top 20 here coming up, if I can ever get to it. But anyway, do you have a question to stump the panel tonight?
Yes, I got one that I thought of and remembered about. What 1990s tropical cyclone hit Florida 3 times in 10 days?
Faye of 08?
I think I know this one. This is Gordon, right?
You got it.
All right. Yes. Finally nailed one.
Man, I thought you guys probably wouldn't get that one, but you got it.
All right.
Correct.
Finally got one. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and send a T-shirt out to you anyway. Go ahead and drop me an email, and we'll get a T-shirt out to you anyways.
Sure. I had another question.
Yeah.
I know you guys haven't discussed about, but what do you guys think about the future possibilities of the Caribbean system that may develop according to some of the models?
You know, I been back and forth on this because the models are like on again, off again on this system. The shear continues to be high down there, and I think this is going to be a slow evolution of this thing, and I'm thinking like next week, maybe the middle of the week, we could see this thing flare up and head towards Cuba, maybe just west of Jamaica. I think the inevitable path on this thing is going to be out to sea, though. I don't think it's going to come into the United States, but that's just my opinion. Things could change next week. I don't see it becoming much. I think maybe a tropical storm or something, maybe a minimal hurricane. What are your thoughts, Derek?
Yeah, it has a chance to become a tropical storm. I mean, it's like Jim said, it's going to be a long process, though, with the wind shear. Usually, like early June systems, they take a while to get going anyway, so we'll see what happens. But like the GFS,
hopefully it does come up anyways close to Florida so it can bring us some rain.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, the GFS a couple of days ago, yesterday was showing like a tropical depression or storm like right over the southwest coast and then heading up towards the east coast. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's probably going to turn northeast like over Cuba before Florida. So
all right, we'll see.
Big rainmaker.
Bill, do you have an opinion on that?
No, not on this particular system. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so that's about it. I think it might develop something next week, but not too much, and we'll see what happens.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Jim.
All right, thanks for listening to the show tonight. Good luck this hurricane season.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Port St. Lucie, that's close to one of my top 20 there, so we'll be getting to that. Let me get through these. Let me get through these, or we're never going to get through the cities here today. Anyway, I was on number 20. Let me switch images. There we go. Number 20 was Deerfield Beach, Florida, and the reason I'm picking Deerfield at number 20. They were affected last year by Tropical Storm Bonnie as a brush. They get hit every 2.14 years, so they are they're not overdue. They were affected last year, but 6 times in history, this city has been hit 2 years in a row. So it has a rich hurricane history of being hit 2 years in a row when they've been hit by a tropical storm the previous year. So, and they get hit when there's an average of 11.91 named storms, which is close to my 11.7. So that's why they are number 20, and the dry May theory kicks in. Whenever South Florida has a really dry May, we are at a higher risk for named storms and hurricanes, primarily hurricanes. So,
Jim, like on top of that, like with neutral, conditions, Florida in general would probably see a higher chance of seeing a hurricane or a tropical storm, and on top of that, you got the dry May theory.
That's right.
So do you think that's a higher chance as
yeah.
well? Yeah, I think so too.
Because there's several cities that have the dry May attached to them.
Surprisingly, too, the people at the National Weather Service in Miami, like Robert Melita.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't believe in the dry May theory.
You know what? It's a real gray area because there's been years where we know there's a caller on the line. Hold on a minute, caller. There's just been just as many years where there's been like heavy rainfall in May and we've been hit by hurricanes as there has been years where we've had dry Mays and got nothing.
Yeah.
So there's really no. Well, look, there is a pattern where more often than not we get hit when there's a dry May, but it's not like a dead given. There's years when it's wet and we get hit anyway. Like Wilma, 2005 was a wet May.
True.
So.
The coin flip theory.
Yeah, it is a coin flip, but it's something I'd throw out there anyway. All right, we have a caller there.
Yes.
Who are you calling? Who are you? Where are you calling from tonight?
Hey, this is Rob. I'm calling from Lakeland, Florida.
Lakeland. Okay, Lakeland, Florida. We got a lot of people calling in from Florida tonight, especially up in the central part of the state there. All right, Lakeland, Florida. That's inland north of Lake Okeechobee, like in the center of the state, south of Orlando, right?
It's in between Orlando and Tampa, basically.
Okay, right. That's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys ready for hurricane season up there?
It looks like we're as ready as we're going to get.
You're ready. You got a lot of trees around you?
Not right around me, no.
Okay, so you're in good shape there because the trees are the big thing. Worries me about Central Florida inland areas. There's so many trees up there. Worried about them crushing people's houses.
Yeah.
All right, did you have a question for us tonight to stump the panel?
Yes, I do.
All right, go for it.
Okay. What year had the most retired storm names, and what were the names that were retired?
Okay, Bill, did you hear that one?
I think he asked what year had the most retired storm names.
That's right.
I'm gonna guess 05.
I'm gonna go with Derek on that. I believe it's 2005.
And what were the names of the storms?
Dennis, Katrina, Rita.
Wait, let me write these down so we don't get lost here. Dennis,
Katrina,
Rita,
Wilma.
I
think Emily was one of them.
Emily should be. It was
Emily
pretty
should
bad.
be.
It hit the Yucatan. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, Emily was one of them.
Was Stan 04 or 05, Jim?
Stan was 05.
Stan was 05. That was retired. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. A.
We've got to get this one, gentlemen.
I think that's it.
Let's not call it yet. I'm still thinking here. G.
That Gert wasn't retired.
No. Gaston was not. No.
Nope.
But I think that was
Ophelia wasn't.
Ophelia was not. Once again, Jim, I think we've got
Yeah, I
them
think
all.
we got it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 storms, and we named them. Are we right?
What were you said 6?
Yeah, 6 storms retired.
I'm looking at 5. Dennis, Katrina, Rita, Stan, and Wilma.
I think Emily was retired.
They don't have Emily on the list?
No.
Okay, what's your source? Where did you get that from?
Let me back up. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Jim, if you would like, I will look that up personally myself.
It's about.com.
No, Emily's on the list for this year.
Yeah, so you're right, caller. You're right. There's 5 and we guess 6, so I guess we lose the bet.
Oh God, give me.
All right, I know that's kind of splitting hairs, but we went one over. So caller gets the choice of his prize. Which one would you like to get? The Siberian Ice, the playing cards, or the laminated tracking map?
All of them sound pretty cool, but I'm going to go with I think the Siberian Ice sounds the most intriguing.
Okay, I'm going to get them to, by the way, everybody that's winning the Siberian Ice, I'm going to try to get them to give you the 5-pound packs. There's 2.5 pounds and 5-pound packs, but I'm going to get them to ship you the 5-pounders, which are, I think you could take 1 or 2 of those to cool off a refrigerator in the event of a power outage for like 5 or 6 days. So we'll get them to send one of those out to you. So that sounds great. Go ahead and drop me an email, jim@hurricanecity.com. Mention your city and your what you asked, what prize you wanted, and we'll get them right out to you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling in, and good luck this hurricane season.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye now.
Hey, Bill, you still on the line?
Bill, you still there? Maybe we lost him.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there he is.
I'm right here.
Bill, how did we get that wrong?
All right, we got another caller here. I'm not going to get past number 20.
With the Emily. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I said we're having trouble. We're not going to get past number 20 here. We got another caller on the line. Okay, go ahead, caller.
All right. I was the one who called about the statistics about the hurricane season earlier.
Okay.
I figured one out. What was the most recent tropical cyclone? Name, maximum intensity, type of tropical cyclone that strengthened over land.
Okay, repeat that question one more time, real slowly.
I said at some point we're going to have to limit the calls to get through the picks, although I'm loving the calls and stump the panel.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun.
Yep.
All right, caller, go ahead and repeat the question one more time.
What was the type of tropical cyclone, maximum wind speed, and, if applicable, name of the most recent tropical cyclone to strengthen over land?
Okay. The name and the type of storm that's to strengthen over land, Bill, is the question.
And wind speed.
Okay, let's get our music going here.
Could we get a hint? What year?
Nope.
Can you repeat the question? I lost you.
Okay, the question was...
2005 and 2010. That's what I'll tell you.
What was 2005 to 2010?
Yep.
Yeah, a storm that strengthened over land, Bill.
I think it was, I think he's guessing 08. Faye?
Damn.
Got it! Yes! All right.
I have another question I can bust out.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it at us. You did give us a clue on that, so go ahead and throw your other question at us.
All right. This is a 2004 hurricane season 1. What was the number of tornadoes, number of fatalities, and most intense tornado produced by Hurricane Ivan?
Okay, what was the amount of tornadoes created by Hurricane Ivan?
Number of tornadoes in total, the most intense rated tornado, and number of fatalities.
Was it 30 tornadoes for the number?
Oh no, you're way off.
Let's see, number of tornadoes for... Did you hear that question, Bill?
Yes, I did. I want to say it's in the 10 to 12 range.
10 to 12. The amount of people that died in Ivan.
No, I was thinking the number of tornadoes. There were a bunch.
$15?
Due to tornadoes?
Yeah.
It's over. Way over.
Okay.
I think it was only like 3 tornadoes with that, right? 3?
No, you're low.
10?
Wait. Did you say what did you just say?
3?
3 tornadoes?
Yeah.
You're funny.
I'm gonna guess 10.
You're way off.
Well, it's got to be somewhere in between. If it's not 3, it's not 10. It's
Come on,
gotta
Bill.
Be like 7.
Bill, you gotta help us out.
How about 8?
It's greater than 50.
It's greater than what?
Oh, it's greater than 50.
50 tornadoes were produced by Hurricane Ivan.
So my highest was 30 so far.
Did he say greater than 50?
Greater than 50. Yep.
All right, 62.
Still off.
60,
All right, I'm out.
65?
Nope.
How many things
This
are
is
produced?
yeah, but we got to have a new rule for this. Like, it can't. It's got to be like a 1-part question, because I mean, we're going to try to take forever just to figure out one part of the question. You know.
So let's just guess the number then. I mean.
All right, I'll take the number only.
Okay.
83.
I thought it was something like that. 90.
Nope. Greater than 100.
70.
Greater than 100. Oh my god. 110.
Nope.
120.
155 tornadoes.
Wow, that's way more.
7,850 tornadoes.
A million.
Is it greater than 200?
No.
152.
130.
No.
All right, give us a ballpark within 30.
174.
Okay, it's less than 120, but greater than.
Less than
105.
what?
What's the answer? We ran out of time.
119 tornadoes with 1 F3.
Oh, I think one of us was off by 1.
Yep, he was over by 1.
Who was that, Bill?
Me.
That was Ivan, right?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and drop us your email and your
I already did
mailing.
that part. I want the map.
Okay, the laminated map. All right, good deal. Go ahead and drop us an email and your mailing address with the prize that you want, and we'll get it right out to you.
I'll send you another email.
All right. I appreciate it. Good luck this hurricane season.
Yep. Hopefully I won't need it.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later. All right. I got to get to these picks, man. We're getting way over here. All right. We went over Deerfield. Here is the number 19 pick, and that is Halifax. Keep an eye on that light. Oh, jeez.
Hi, caller.
All right, caller. You're caller number 19. All right. Who are you calling from?
New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey. Okay. What part of New Jersey you in?
Central.
Central. You anywhere you get a hit down near Atlantic City every now and then?
Yeah, no. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since that area's been hit too. It's I think it was Gloria, 85.
Does Bob count?
Bob was a little bit offshore. It was too far offshore. All right. Well, you have a question for the Stump the Panel tonight.
Well, I have a couple questions. So.
Well, it's only one. You just get one question, and the other one we let him go too because he gave us a clue that kind of just basically gave the question away. But go ahead and answer. Is it all about stumping the panel, or you just had a question for us in general, or?
Well, I have one for stumping the panel and one for just what are your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Go ahead and throw them at us.
Well, the first one is about Invest 93, the one right now in the northeastern Gulf.
Okay.
And I was wondering, what are the chances of it developing into something? Because right now it's over a decent amount of shear and pretty decent sea surface temperatures, and I want to hear your thoughts about if it could develop or something.
I think it's in a high pressure environment, and I don't really expect much out of this system. Plus it's hauling ass. It's going really fast right now. I just don't think this thing's going to really. Although the H-Wharf had it as a tropical storm going into Mexico. There it is going up. Yeah, it looks like it's getting a little sheared right now too.
Yeah, the shear from the GFS forecast is also saying the shear is going to increase over that area anyway, so it's not going to do much.
All right, thanks for that.
Yeah, and it's surrounded by dry air, too. It's sucking dry air into it. I really don't think nothing's going to come out of this system. I mean, it looks well organized, but by the time it gets to where it's going, it's moving so fast, I just don't think it has enough time to turn into a named storm or anything like that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, now, what's your question for the Stump the Panel?
Sure. What's it called? I don't need a prize or anything, just, just throwing this one out, because, my question is, there's been a named storm in the Atlantic, and it's been used 7 times.
A named storm in the Atlantic that's been used 7 times.
And it's still on the list right now.
Still on the list right now.
For this year?
Is it this year's list?
No, it's not this year's list.
Okay, let me think about this, because there's been quite a few...
Can you tell us what list it was? Or what year? I mean, not the year, but is what year the list is on again, or something like that.
Well, that would be kind of giving the question away.
I guess so.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, let me think here. Let's see. Hermine?
No, but if you want, I can give you an example of a recent year. Still here. Would you like a recent year?
Yeah, give me a recent year.
All right, recent year is 2008.
2008, okay.
2008 list.
Claudette?
Well, Faye. No, that name hasn't been used that often. Brett? No. Let's see. Let's see. Ike.
No.
2008.
How many times did this name become a hurricane? If you don't mind giving that, if you know it.
A hurricane? Give me 1 second. It was used 7 times, but let me check how many times it is a hurricane.
Arthur? No. Alex?
It's not Arthur. And it
Alex?
Bertha?
You guys want to hear how many times it became a hurricane?
Bertha was retired.
Oh, Oh, that's right.
No, it's not Arthur.
Man, these are some hard questions.
For Stobel.
Let's see. Danny?
No. Do you want me to give you, like, how many times it's used as a hurricane?
Yeah.
Okay. It's 5 times.
5 times it's been a hurricane?
Yep. And I'll give you one final hint. It was a hurricane in 2008.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
I can't even remember 2008. My brain is fuzzy on that. Let's see. Fire truck. Little Family Guy.
Edward?
No.
No.
All right, we lose.
Yep.
What is it?
The answer was Dolly.
Oh, of course.
Dolly. I thought that, no, it didn't get retired. The one that hit in 2000 and...
No,
that
Dolly's,
was 2008.
That was yeah, but it didn't get retired.
2008? No,
I know, I thought it...
2007.
No, it was
Dolly
2008. It hit South Texas. But it wasn't major.
2007. July 23rd, 7/23. That would be July 23rd, 2007.
Which one? Dolly?
Dolly.
Who?
It's an 07 system.
I don't know about that.
I know because I covered it. You weren't here. You were out.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. All right, caller, you won the prize. What would you like to get? The Siberian Ice, the playing cards, or the laminated tracking chart?
I really don't need anything. I'm just, just wanted to ask a question. That's it.
Okay. All right. That's a good attitude. Let's not wipe out all the merchandise.
No, I'm good. And what's it called? Also, one of your people in the room, he actually knows me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah? Derek?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You know him on Facebook?
Who's the caller's name again?
What was your name?
Danny.
Oh, Danny Morris?
Yeah.
Hey, Danny.
What's up?
Yeah, I got the mic on. Yep. How you doing, Danny?
Good, you?
Pretty good. Just doing the show with Jim tonight.
Nice.
Yep. So.
All right, Danny.
Yep.
Well, good luck. I don't know to rush you, but I got to get like 20 more cities picked here tonight. So
Sure.
got to get rolling here.
Don't worry.
Danny,
right.
you embarrassed me, my friend.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Talk to you later.
No problem.
All right.
Later.
All right. Number 19 is Halifax, Nova Scotia. Do I have that up on the screen? Yeah. In Halifax, Nova Scotia. They were hit last year by Tropical Storm Earl. They get hit when there's an average. Oh, this is ridiculous.
We're not going to get through this.
We're not going to get through these cities,
Nope.
I'm telling you. All right. We have another caller.
Hi.
Hello. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Mary Pat from Weston.
Oh, hey, Mary.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I have a question to stump the panel.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay. In my childhood, I had to evacuate on one storm 3 different times, and I was never hit. We went from Miami to Orlando, Orlando to Jacksonville. Do you know what storm that was?
Say that again, Mary.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, we evacuated from Miami to Orlando and to Jacksonville to avoid a storm in my childhood, but we were never hit. In fact, Florida was never hit by the storm. Do you know what storm that was?
Floyd,
1999.
No, it was in my childhood, and I'm an old lady.
Okay.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think about this now? You ran from Miami and went up to North Florida.
We were threatened from Miami to Orlando, Orlando to Jacksonville, but it never hit us. Do you know what storm that was?
Was it Inez, 1966?
Close.
So was it around the 60s?
Famous storm.
Let's see. Donna?
No.
Donna ran the peninsula.
No. Famous storm. Let's just say, never turn your back on a storm.
Cleo?
No.
You guys are embarrassing us tonight.
Didn't even hit Florida.
Wasn't David.
Nope.
I mean,
Come on, Bill. Come
Yeah, Bill, let's go.
Get on it, Crowdhammer. Come on.
Mary, my mom said hi.
Hi.
what's this a major?
Major.
Okay.
Wait, can you give us a year? A year range or a year?
No, that's...
Isabel, 1968.
No.
Up north. Would it be Betsy?
Yeah.
It's the most one that would be the most common. Yeah,
That
right.
was the famous
All right.
loop storm. It looped Florida and went into. Do you know the second part? Where did it go? Where did it actually hit?
Yeah, it hit up in Louisiana.
Correct.
Yep, came into Louisiana.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
Yeah, you almost got us. I mean, we were right at the end of the music. We had about 30 seconds to go.
Never turn your back on a hurricane.
There you go.
Betsy went north, and then it went south, and then it went through South Dade, and went into the Gulf and hit Louisiana.
Right.
It did a loop of Florida.
Yep.
So
No, that was a
never turn your back.
great question. Western Florida, you're in the one of my high-risk areas this year, so I'm going to get to that shortly. But good luck this hurricane season. I'm going to send you a T-shirt anyway if you want. You want to drop me an email?
Sure.
And we'll get a Hurricane City T-shirt out. You know, these are old. They're not that great. They're the old merchandise where we don't even have that logo anymore. Just trying to get rid of stuff here. So
Well, thank you very much.
drop me your email, and we'll get it right out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good
Take
night.
care, Mary.
Bye.
All right. Okay, that's a listener from Weston. All right, Halifax, Nova Scotia, number 19.
Next pick.
That is, they've been hit 8 times in a row. 8 times they've been hit 2 years in a row, and they get hit when there's an average of 12.33 named storms, so that's why I have Halifax at number 19. All right, let's go to number 18, and that is Cape Canaveral, Florida, is number 18. They are due this year, historically speaking. They get hit every 2.48 years. They were last affected in 2008 by Tropical Storm Faye. We had a couple of questions about that. There's a 3-year gap.
Oh, you did.
We had a caller and missed it. Try again, caller. 3-year gap where they've been hit 6 times. 6 times they were hit 3 years later. Okay, we have a caller on the line. This is crazy. We're just never going to get through this. All right, caller, go for it. Where are you calling from tonight? Hello? Do we have a caller?
Lost him, Jim. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Cape Canaveral, Florida, 6 times in history they were hit 3 years later, so that's a pretty strong signature. They get hit when there's an average of 12 named storms, and that's why Cape Canaveral is number 18 on the list. Okay, let's go to our next one, number 17, and this is Jupiter, Florida. Now, you're going to see a lot of storms in Florida on the list tonight because there's really strong signature for Florida this year. So that is number 17 is Jupiter, and we do have a caller on the line. Is a caller
guys,
there?
How y'all doing tonight?
Who is this?
This is Chris from Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, Jackson, Mississippi. Now, were you affected badly by Katrina?
Yeah, we had wind gusts here, not officially up to hurricane force. We had a lot of tree damage, of course, houses, cars, power outages. We didn't have power for about 2 weeks.
Wow. And you're pretty far inland, too, aren't you? Jackson, you're way up there toward the top of the state, right? Or is that, how far inland are you?
Central, South Central. I'm about 150 miles inland from the coast.
Okay.
So we get a decent shot. Depends, where it heads up.
Right. All right. Did you have a question tonight to stump the panel here to win one of the prizes?
Yes, I did.
All right, go for it.
Name a named storm in the 60s that hit the UK.
Hit the UK.
What?
That's correct.
A storm in the 60s that hit the UK.
That's correct. And what intensity was it? What it made landfall?
Well, that's something we're just going to have to stick to figuring out what storm it is. I mean,
That's all right.
Wow.
Gosh, 60s. All right, let's go through all the 60s storms. Let's see. Betsy, I don't think that went. No, that went up into the U.S. 60s.
Bill?
Crowdhammer.
No luck.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
By the way, we lost your video.
I killed it. I've been having connectivity problems. I'll bring the video back later. Go ahead.
60s storm that ended up hitting the UK.
That's correct.
And it did not, we're going to have a clue here. Did it, well, not that that's going to matter, because it didn't hit land in the U.S., right?
No, it did not.
Did this system clip Canada at all? I doubt it.
No, it did not.
Okay.
Did it recurve way east of Bermuda?
Did you repeat that?
Did it recurve like way east of Bermuda, like several hundred miles?
No.
That's going to be one that I don't think we're going to be able to answer. 60s.
For the record, I'm taking myself out of this. I'm looking it up.
No cheating, Bill.
You can't cheat. You can't look it up. It's
I'm
not.
taking myself out of this question. I'm curious.
Okay. You still have to go through 10 years of tracking charts, though, to get the answer to it, probably.
Oh, that's what Google's for.
See, all the hurricanes I know from the 60s all made landfall. Like
Donna, Betsy, Camille. I mean, come on.
Did you repeat that?
Was it Camille?
No.
No way. Did this system fall apart? It did not affect the U.S. at all, correct?
That's correct.
Well,
we
just ran out of time anyway. He wins the prize.
So what was
it? It was Faith in 1966.
Faith. Yep.
Okay.
I've seen that on the tracking charts before. I just was drawing a blank on that. All right, caller, what would you what was that, Bill?
That's two questions on that storm in 66 that we haven't gotten tonight.
True.
Yeah.
All right, so caller, what would you like? The Siberian Ice, the deck of playing cards, or the laminated tracking map?
Let me get the tracking map.
Okay, the laminated tracking map, courtesy of Maptrax.com. That link is on the front page of Hurricane City. All right, thank you, caller from Mississippi tonight. It was Jackson, Mississippi, you said?
That's correct.
Jackson, Mississippi. All right, send me your mailing address, and we'll get the laminated tracking map out to you as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you
All right,
very much.
thank you.
Good night.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, I'll tell you what, folks, we got to put a cap on the phone calls for the time being. I got to get through these city picks, and if we have any time at the end of the show, maybe we'll take a couple more calls, but I got to get through these cities. We're never going to get through them. Appreciate all the phone calls tonight, though, and I think we're at our limit on the merchandise here. The only thing I can give away at this point is T-shirts. So let's go ahead and get to the top, to finish the top 20
Jim,
here. Jupiter, yeah.
What about the Canadian model?
What about it?
What's showing in the Caribbean? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it hasn't coming right towards Florida as a hurricane, but I mean
a major hurricane. Yep. If you're listening from Western Cuba, be prepared. You got a major hurricane coming your way, according to the Canadian.
Yeah, the Canadian model's all over the place on that 90.
Yep.
Constantly making cyclones, the Canadian.
I know, of course.
They haven't even put up an invest on this thing,
which surprises me. You know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. We'll see next week. I mean, the models are consistently wanting to develop this thing, so it is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
The shear's got to lighten up down there, though.
Yep.
All right, Jupiter, number 17. 2008, they were affected by Tropical Storm Faye. They get affected every 2.17 years. There's a 3-year gap, 5 times in history when they've been hit 3 years later, and they get hit once every 3 years. They get hit when there's an average of 12 named storms, and the dry May theory kicks into this as well for Jupiter. Let's see, there's more South Florida cities in the top 20 than any other area. I've mentioned that. Central Florida, Why are my notes all jumbled up here? Jupiter beats Cape Canaveral because they both have very similar stats here. But let me see. More stuff. Okay, the reason I chose Jupiter over Cape Canaveral at number 17 is because there's more cities in South Florida that are in the top 20 than Central Florida, where Cape Canaveral is, and that's why Cape Canaveral is one slot lower. But basically, Cape Canaveral and Jupiter are basically even in my top 20. All right, let's go to number 16. And number 16 is Tampico, Mexico. That's on the northern coast of the mainland Mexico, just south of Texas. Tampico is due to be affected by a named storm this year. In 2000, last time they were affected was 2005. Tropical Storm Gert came in there, and they get a hit every 5.15 years. So only one time in history where they hit 5 years later, and it's 11.55 named storms when they get hit by a named storm on average. So Tampico gets up to number 16. Okay, number 15 is Mérida, Mexico. That's on the Yucatan Peninsula, on the northwest portion of the Yucatan Peninsula. Mérida, Mexico. They are 1 year overdue, and they were last affected by Tropical Storm Stan in 2005. Basically, 3 times they were hit 6 years after they were hit by a named storm. So this would be the 6th year, and that's happened 3 times in history. And they get hit when there's an average of 10.46 named storms. By the way, this is the only city in the top 20 that has less than 11 named storms when they've been hit. So I'm not really high on this pick. I don't think Mérida is a high risk this year, but I have it at number 15. Okay, number 14, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Again, another city in South Florida. They were affected last year by Tropical Storm Bonnie, but they've been hit 10 times in history. They were hit 2 years in a row by a named storm. So it's very common for Fort Lauderdale to get hit 2 years in a row. There's a rich history of that happening. So Fort Lauderdale is number 14. They also get hit when there's an average of 12 named storms, and the dry May theory once again kicks in, which puts Fort Lauderdale at number 14 in the top 20.
Weren't they one of your top 5 last year?
They were in the top 5 last year, that's right, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All right, number 13 on the list is Stuart. They are due to be affected this year. They last time they were affected was 2008. Tropical Storm Faye affected them, and they get hit when there's an average of 2.36 named storms. 8 times in history, they were hit 3 years later, so that's a very rich hurricane history of getting hit once every 3 years. They're due this year, and they get hit when there's an average of 11.93 named storms. And again, the dry May theory for Stuart also takes into effect for West Palm Beach Airport readings. So Stuart is number 13 on the list. Okay, number 12 is West Palm Beach. That's just north of my location here in Delray Beach. West Palm Beach, number 12, they are due this year. In 2008, they were affected by Tropical Storm Faye, but they get affected every 2.07 years, so they are due this year. And 5 times in history, they were hit when they were due 3 years later.
Wow.
So that's rounding up to August, by the way. So they were affected by Faye in August of 2008, so they would effectively be hit in August of this hurricane season.
You have a lot of Florida cities on your
list
there.
A lot of Florida. And you know, the last time I had this many cities grouped together was Mississippi back in 2005.
Okay.
So that shows you how South Florida is really high risk this year. And they get hit when there's an average of 11.83 named storms. And once again, the dry May theory. Very dry here in South Florida this year. I'm going to show you some graphics after I'm done with the top 20 about how dry it is down here. And when you're really, really dry in South Florida, like less than an inch of rain overall, or less than 2 inches, we've been hit by a lot of majors in years like that.
You got the email, right, for my rain totals this month?
You know what? I'm afraid to open my email. There's probably got 10,000 questions in here. By the way, I got to go through all these 100 of emails in here. But let's see, Derek Sibley. Let's see, Facebook. No, that's.
Jim,
I had over just like over an inch, like 1.38, I think, for this month. So
yeah,
it's not that much.
I'll show that graphic, and ours are pretty much similar.
Yeah.
Okay, this is number 11, Cabo Rojo, and I'm not sure if it's Rojo or Rojo.
It's Rojo.
Rojo, Cabo Rojo, yes. Puerto Rico. This is the southwest city in the country of Puerto Rico, on the island of Puerto Rico, and this is very rare. We usually don't see cities in the top 20 that are in Puerto Rico. This is the first time I think I've ever had a Puerto Rican city in my top 20.
Wow.
And this is in southwest part of the country. That means basically if it hits there, it's hitting the whole country basically. So Cabo Rojo is number 11. They get hit. They're due this year basically for a named storm. The last time they were hit was 2007. Subtropical storm Olga hit them, and they get hit when there's an average of 3.86. They get hit every 3.86 years. They don't get hit that often there compared to South Florida, but there's been no times in history where they were hit 4 years later. So I'm not real high on this pick, but it is. They do get hit when there's an average of 11.57 named storms. So they're right near that 11.70 criteria I set out at the beginning of the show. So Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, the first time a Puerto Rican city's been in my top 20. So be careful in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. Okay, Delray Beach. This is the home base of HurricaneCity.com. And just to let you know, I'm not being a homer here. I don't think I've ever had Delray Beach in my top 5 or top 10. I don't think I've ever had them. I might be wrong on that. I don't think I've ever had Delray in my top 10. And they are in my top 10 this year. Delray Beach, they are 1 year overdue here in Delray. The last time we were affected was 2006 Tropical Storm Ernesto. It petered out here just when it was coming into Palm Beach County. 0 times they were hit 5 years later. And so I'm not real confident of this pick because there's no history here to say that they usually get hit 5 years after a tropical storm. There's no history like that, so I'm not real high on Delray. 11.84 named storms when Delray gets hit, and that's a little bit above my criteria of 11.70, and the dry May theory once again kicks in for Delray. Now let me show you this next graphic here, and this is my rainfall totals for my rain gauge outside, and I don't know if the audience can see that real clearly, but that's only about just over a half an inch of rain at my rain gauge here, and I've been cleaning that rain bucket out. I know it's accurate. Derek, you say you had just over an inch of rain?
I had over an inch, and I've been cleaning out my bucket all May, too.
So. And now you're about 30 miles south of me, or maybe even a little more than that, maybe 40 miles south of where I am. So Broward County overall is very dry this year. And, again, when you get under 1 inch of rain, we have a rich history of being hit by major hurricanes down here. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this rain gauge is pretty troubling, actually, in the whole scheme of things. So Delray Beach, number 10. All right, number 9, Lake Worth, Florida. This is just north of me here. This is like you go Delray, then Boynton, then Lake Worth. Lake Worth is maybe 10 miles north of me. That's number 9. Lake Worth is due to be hit this year. The last time they were affected was 2008. Tropical Storm Faye brushed by in 2008, and they get affected every 2.11 years by a named storm. 4 times in history they were hit 2 years later, so there's a pretty good history there of being hit 4 years after they were hit the previous time. And 11.58 named storms, which is close to my 11.70, and the dry May theory again kicks in. So Lake Worth is at number 9. Number 8 is Georgetown, Cayman Islands. Wow. Well, not Georgetown, but the whole Cayman Islands as a whole. That includes Grand Cayman and Little Cayman Brac. Islands are number 8 on the list. Now, this is one of the most affected areas in the Atlantic Basin, the Cayman Islands. They get hit like every 1.64 years. It's almost like every other year they get hit by a named storm, so naturally they would crack the top 10. But they are due this year for a named storm. And they were, in 8 times in history, they've been hit 2 years later. So it seems like every 2 years they get hit. This is their second year. So I'm really high on Caymans being affected this year. They get hit when there's an average of 11.77 named storms. That's only 0.7 over my 11.70 criteria. And they're closer to 11.70 than Lake Worth. That's the only reason they're higher than Lake Worth, Florida, is because they're a little closer to that 11.70. So the Cayman Islands, number 8. Cayman Islands, they have a rich hurricane history, so I'm sure the people down there are prepared. Number 7 is Hollywood, Florida. That's Derek's location. He's real happy about that. He's smiling and everything.
Here we go.
I know people outside South Florida are like, come on already. Does everything have to be in South Florida this year? Come on.
I know.
But the math is adding up for South Florida. I don't know what it is, but everything is adding up for the cities here in South Florida. Hollywood, number 7. They were hit last year by Tropical Storm Bonnie.
Right.
But 11 times in history they've been hit 2 years in a row. 11 times. That's a pretty strong indication that you're going to get hit again this year if it's happened 11 times in history since 1871.
Jim, I don't think I've ever seen you cluster a given location on the map. I mean, we're going to have to go through this. We got a 55 or 60 mile stretch at this point that is just layered with your picks. I mean, Deerfield, Delray. I mean, we could go down the list. I mean,
yeah.
You've got a bullseye on southern Florida.
And you might think, and here's the thing about my picks when it comes to South Florida. Each of these cities has different statistics in history. You would think that they all have the same stats, like when a hurricane hits Miami, that includes everybody. But actually, there have been hurricanes that have hit Miami, and Lake Worth was not affected by it. There were hurricanes that hit Miami, and Key Largo was not affected by it. So all these cities have their own individual statistics because there might be years where Hollywood was brushed by a storm, but yet Fort Lauderdale didn't get brushed because it's north of Hollywood. So all these cities have different stats, and yet they're all clumped together as being ready based on statistical math from the history. But Hollywood, 11 times in history, they were hit 2 years in a row, and 11.33 named storms. So they're a little bit below that 11.70. I'm more or less leaning towards any cities that are slightly above that would be at a higher risk. Right. But you're right below that, 11.33, and, of course, the dry May theory. We already talked about that.
Let me just say this as well. Like, you have a lot of Florida cities on your list, like I said before, but there's going to, when the next hurricane comes, we've been in, 5 years without a hurricane? Just a Cat 1, 2, or maybe a 3 as well. But
it'd be 6 years.
Right. It'd be 6 years. And people are going to forget, like, if it's a Category 1 coming into South Florida, people are going to, treat it like it's nothing. And we did see deaths with Katrina, and that was only a 1. A tree fell on a guy.
Right. It was 5 years now because this would be the 6th year if we don't get hit this year.
Right. But my point is, though, people are going to forget, what a hurricane actually people know what a hurricane is, but they're going to be like, oh, well, it's nothing, even if it's a Category 2, just because of the number. And, people are going to forget because it's been so long, actually. So we don't do hurricane drills.
Hollywood, if you're listening to Hollywood, be ready this year. I have a feeling for South Florida this year. All right, Eleuthera Island, Bahamas, number 6. And by the way, I'm going to show you guys maps coming up of what my thinking is as far as tracks and everything based on my picks and what some tracks could be this year. So I haven't done that in the past. I think you're going to enjoy this coming up. But Eleuthera Island, number 6, they are 1 year overdue, which is very unusual for that island because they get hits like slammed regularly. They very rarely ever go overdue for a named storm. So Eleuthera Island, very high up there. Last time they were affected, 2007 Tropical Storm Noel. One time they were hit 4 years later, so there's not a real rich hurricane history of 4 years later being hit, but it has happened one time, and they are at 12.16 named storms when they get hit on average, which is over the 11.70, but I think we're going to be slightly, I said 12 to 14 named storms this year, so they're going to be right there for the amount of storms I think we're going to have this year. Eleuthera Island, Bahamas, number 6. All right, next is our top 5. And these are the cities. If you're in this top 5 coming up, I hear Bill scooting his chair in toward the screen.
Listen up, Bill.
Bill's scooting in close. All right. If you're in the top 5 here on this list tonight, you may not get hit, but there's a pretty good chance you may. And I would be battening down I'd be getting all your supplies ready. If you're in this top 5, you better be paying attention this hurricane season. Let's get to it.
I believe I was in the top 5 in 03, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry about it, Bill. That music went right over you there.
I'll repeat what I just said. I think I was in the top 5 for, or Elizabeth City was, which is very near me, during the 03 season, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, and that's when Isabel hit.
Correct.
All right, here's number 5. And this is the country of Belize down there south of the Yucatan Peninsula in the southwest Caribbean Sea, or the western Caribbean Sea, rather. Now, they are due – they're not due because they were hit last year. Tropical Storm Richard, or Hurricane Richard, hit them in 2010. I remember the storm surge came in. There were people climbing up on the roofs and everything. So they were hit last year by a hurricane. 11 times in history they've been hit 2 years in a row. That's like kind of like your Hollywood stats there. It's really a strong signature of being hit 2 years in a row. They get hit when there's an average of 13 named storms, which is right in the middle of what I'm thinking, 12 to 14 named storms, 13 named storms, which is over my 11.70. But I don't think it's going to be a hurricane. I think they're going to get a tropical storm this year. They were hit by a hurricane last year. There's not a lot of history of them getting hit by 2 hurricanes in a row. So I'm thinking more tropical storm for Belize City, but they already had their nightmare last year. I don't think it's going to repeat this year, but they're number 5. Number 4 is Great Exuma, Bahamas. Now, this is located just southeast of Andros Island, Bahamas, and south of Eleuthera Island, Bahamas. Great Exuma, Bahamas is 2 years overdue. Now, again, the cities that weigh the heaviest in my top 20 are cities that are overdue, because very rarely any of the cities or islands are overdue, because the return rates are pretty accurate. They're 2 years overdue. The last time they were affected, 2005, Tropical Storm Rita. Never in history were they hit 6 years later. So I'm not real high on this pick, but 12.33 named storms when they get hit on average, and that's right where I'm thinking we're going to be this year. But the 2 years overdue is the reason they're so high up on the list. Great Exuma Island, Bahamas. Number 3, Boynton Beach. Here we go again, another South Florida city. This is the location just north of me here in Delray Beach. It's about 5 miles north of me. Boynton Beach, Florida is 1 year overdue for a named storm. They were affected in 2006 by Tropical Storm Ernesto. It brushed Boynton Beach. It was dying just west of here. And 2 times they were hit 5 years later by a named storm. So there is some history of being hit 5 years later. They get hit when there's an average of 13.66 named storm, which would lean toward a 14 named storm type season. The only reason I'm high on this is because of all the other cities that are in South Florida, but the 1 year overdue is really a big factor in Boynton Beach being number 3, because none of the other South Florida cities are overdue.
Watch out, Michael.
Delray, which is 1 year.
There's a guy named Michael up in Boynton Beach, so I'm just saying watch out.
Okay. Basically, if you live in South Florida this year, just be ready. Grand Bahama Island, this is just east of us here, all right? If you drew a line from Palm Beach straight across, you'd ran into Grand Bahama Island. West Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Grand Bahama is number 2 on the list this year. They are 3 years overdue. That's the most overdue area of all my cities in the top 20 this year. 3 years overdue, and that's very unusual for Grand Bahama Island. They get slammed year after year after year, whether it's a tropical storm or hurricane. They get hit like every 1 point something years. I don't have it written down here, but they were affected by Wilma last. That's a long time since they've been affected by a named storm, which is very unusual for Grand Bahama. One time they were hit 6 years later in history, so it has happened once before, and they get hit when there's an average of 13.25 named storms, kind of what I'm thinking in the range there. So Grand Bahama, again, 3 years overdue. That's why Grand Bahama is number 2 on the list. And our number 1 list.
You're going to scare the living you-know-what out of these people.
Number 1, Boca Raton, Florida, just south of my location. And I'm telling you, I'm not making this up only because I live. I've never done this in all the years I've been doing these predictions. Boca Raton, number 1. They are 2 years overdue, which is very unusual for South Florida cities. They were last affected by Tropical Storm Ernesto. The trend, 5 times they've been hit 5 years later in history. That's unbelievable. I mean, you never see that trend more than a couple of times in history, but 5 times it's happened where they were hit 5 years after a tropical storm hit. So that's a really strong signature for Boca. They get hit when there's an average of 12.20 named storms, and the dry May theory, once again, kicks in. So that's your top 20. Boca Raton is number 1, Grand Bahama Island number 2, Boynton Beach number 3, Great Exuma number 4, Belize number 5, Eleuthera Island number 6, Hollywood number 7, Grand Cayman number 8, Lake Worth number 9, Delray number 10, Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico number 11, Palm Beach number 12, Stewart number 13, Fort Lauderdale number 14, Merida, Mexico number 15, Tampico, Mexico number 16, Jupiter number 17, Cape Canaveral number 18, Halifax number 19, and Deerfield number 20. And the ticking time bomb is Tampa, Florida. And I was wrong when I said at the beginning of the show that there was going to be another city near Tampa that would, the closest city to Tampa, I think the closest city to Tampa on my list is, it would be Cape Canaveral, which was number 18, because it's across the state on the other side. So that would be the closest. So something could come through Tampa, through Cape Canaveral, and hit Tampa on the backside.
Or like the percentile for the whole state of Florida in general, not like South Florida, but just the whole state, at least by 1 hurricane or a tropical storm? What are the percentages? Like 50, 60, you think?
Well, Dr. Gray and Phil Klotzbach have it 38% for Florida as the number one in their list.
What do you think?
I'm thinking like 80% chance.
Wow. God. All right.
I'm thinking there's an 80% chance of somewhere between Central and South Florida being affected. But surprisingly, I don't have any of the Keys in there this year because the Keys, actually none of them are overdue or due for that matter. And their numbers don't add up for the Keys. I think I have my notes. It says, like, for example, Key Largo, they're 1 year overdue right now, but they only get hit when there's an average of 9.86 named storms. They tend to get hit.
Years, right?
They get hit when it's slower hurricane seasons on average in the Florida Keys. Now, again, they're overdue by 1 year, and 2 times they were hit 5 years later in history. So Key Largo would crack just about the top 20. He'd be like number 21 on the list. So, again, that's another South Florida city. And so South Florida really, I'm thinking, let me put it to you this way. If I had to gamble this house and say, I'm putting this house up. If I lose this bet, the bank owns my house. If one of my top 5 doesn't get hit, I would gamble the house. That's how confident I am of this.
Wow.
Jim, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Can we see a graphical for the people that don't live in South Florida because of the tight clustering of your picks? Let's show them. I mean, this is like less than a 70-mile range that you have for all the South Florida picks, if I'm not mistaken, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2.
All right, let me.
Hello.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Hey there, it's Bobby. How you doing?
Hey, Bobby. I haven't heard from you in a long time.
I know. I wasn't going to call in, but I was listening to all your clustered picks around Fort Lauderdale and North and Bahamas and Boca. Wow. So I was wondering. I know you're like really good at numbers of cities but you don't usually say when. So I'm wondering, like, if a person was going to worry on getting a hit down around Del Rey or Hollywood, when would you think those storms would most likely come? Are you talking like August, September, or do you think that maybe storms will be early this year and the pattern will throw things off?
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'll say that
good.
I think that it's going to be not only a mid-September kind of a thing, but I think we're also going to get hit in October late in the season from the southwest.
Do you?
Yeah, I think we could get the double hit this year, and if we don't get the double, it's going to be one or the other, but I'm more thinking it's going to be a East Coast deal from in September.
Francis track?
Like a Francis. Well, I'm going to show you some tracks here in a minute, what I think is going to happen this year. But that's my thinking.
That's a dead giveaway. That would be Wilma.
That would be Wilma. Well,
What do you think?
About dry Mays. I mean, there's all kinds of theories. Like, there's a lot of theories say that if it's you get a storm in early June, then the numbers are down. Although I don't think that really applies this year. But there's a statistical analysis where if you have a storm in June, it doesn't mean it's going to be a busy season. But I wouldn't say that would cover this year.
Well, let me give you some examples here. 2004, Francis, Jean, and Charlie. Francis, Jean, and Charlie hit the state. It affected South Florida. We only had 2.45 inches of rain in May for that year. But at the same time, in the year David hit, or tried to hit South Florida, it didn't actually come in here, but we had 5.29 inches of rain, so we were over the 5 inches. And then, of course, you have the 2005 season. We were way above average in rainfall, and we got nailed that year. So, I mean, it's not an exact science by any stretch.
Well, everybody kind of forgets. In 1926, people focus on the September storm that was the Great Miami Hurricane. But Bahamas got nailed, and there was also a storm that kind of came in from the south at the same time, later in the year.
Yeah, a lot of our years where we've been pounded in South Florida have been double hits. It's always the second one that seems to be more vicious. Like there's a first one that's a teaser, and then the second one comes in to knock you down for the count.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you don't see Cuba in here, do you?
Nope, no cities in Cuba. So I'm going to show you my tracks. I don't think they're going to be Caribbean storms. In fact, Dr. Gray and Klotzbach they have a much less chance of a major making it into the Caribbean this year than for Florida. I think it's like they have like 50% for the Caribbean and 73% for the United States for a major hurricane.
Okay, I'll look at the
Keep in mind,
text.
though, that 50% is average. You see that on most
nice strong waves early off.
I mean,
the bat
that's
that make you
still
wonder,
a pretty
like,
high probability.
it's going to be.
Wait a minute, you guys were talking on each other. What were you saying, Bobby?
I said there have been some really strong waves off of Africa really early, things that you'd usually see later in
Yeah, I noticed that, but they're traveling really far south, but they're big blobs. They're really well organized. So once that ITCZ shifts north, it could be interesting.
Well, climate-wise, I mean, they're a little early, but they won't get up closer to where they need to be for a little bit while longer. But like you said, they're pretty intense.
Yeah, they look pretty juicy coming off Africa for this early in the year, definitely.
Very cool. You got a great show tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, Bobby.
Enjoying it.
All right, thanks for calling. Were you still up in North Carolina?
I just got back to North. Actually, I have a question, and I think I sent Fred a question on it. I actually just got back from New York into North Carolina, and I'll be back in Miami in a few weeks. But they said that the storm system that they've been following, the storm that was like off of the system that crossed Florida today.
Yep.
I've been tracking it. Saw it off of North Carolina, but several references online said it came from further north, closer to New York. And I was wondering about that because there was some severe weather on Monday morning, Sunday when we were leaving. So I was wondering if that was true, or does anybody know where this blob that's been traveling west, southwest started?
Honestly, I don't really track those troughs up there that well, but I mean, I would assume, based on what I've seen over the last 24 to 36 hours, it came from a trough of some sort, like the backside of a
frontal boundary or something like that.
Was that what dipped down from New York on the frontal boundary?
I think that's what
something passed off the coast just before we left on Monday. I mean, Monday morning it was raining, and the night, it had dipped. It looked like it went through in the middle of the night. So what I'm wondering is that what dipped down? I don't know.
That's a good question. I still think that was from an old frontal boundary. I mean, because it kind of looked like it appeared out of nowhere, but not really, because there were some swirls off North Carolina. Then you got the convection blowing up. So I think it was from an old frontal boundary, and the reason it's moving west-southwest is because of that ridge to the north. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong ridge. I didn't pay attention until yesterday. So, okay, thank you very much. Y'all sound great, and I'm enjoying it.
Where are you going to be during the hurricane season? Back up in North Carolina?
Well, tell me when to be in Florida, Jim.
September. You don't want to miss all the carnage.
What?
You don't want to miss all the carnage.
Well, I mean, that's another thing you didn't talk about. Are you talking like Cat 4s or Cat 5s?
I don't get it. I don't get it really.
Or Cat 2s,
Yeah,
I think Jim's thinking Cat 5, right?
I don't get into intensities because I don't want to scare the crap out of anybody, but I just basically make it a named storm, so I don't really put myself out there. But I'm leaning towards hurricane. I'm not committing to major though.
Well, because you said Belize tropical storm more likely, so.
Well, that's Belize, but Florida, I'm more leaning hurricane though.
If there was one area that you'd say was most likely to be hit by a stronger hurricane, which area of the coastline would you say?
South Florida.
South Florida, not the Keys.
Nope. Not the Keys.
Thank you. That's good.
That's just me. It could still happen. You live down in the Keys. A Rita type track could wipe you out if it's a little further north.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Good luck this hurricane season. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
All right.
She mentioned that wave, a couple waves. There's actually one coming off the west coast right now. It looks pretty big too.
Yeah, down there, Senegal or whatever those countries are down there.
Right, yeah.
Yep, big blobs. They're all really well. Yeah, there's dry air out in front of it, but there's big blobs coming off Africa this year. I think we're going to have some big, long trackers this year.
Yep.
All right, there's the South Florida rainfall graphic. This is just to let you know why there's so many cities in South Florida at high risk, not just because of the rainfall or lack thereof, but this is just one example. Look at this. We have 1.63 up here near Fort Pierce area up here where we had a few callers tonight. And then look at Palm Beach, 2.4. I don't know where they're getting these numbers because I only had like a half an inch of rain, and they're saying 2.46. So I guess the airport up in here somewhere had a lot of rain. 1.93 down in Broward, and then you have 1.75 down in Miami-Dade. So very dry all over South Florida, even Southwest Florida here. Very dry conditions, and there's been a lot of hurricane seasons where when it's really, really, really dry, you get some sort of tropical activity coming through here.
Does the lake level, Lake Okeechobee, count for the dry May theory? I guess it does, right?
Well, it's dropping. I think they're down to like 11 feet now or something. They were up to 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Or 11 and a half feet, something like that. All right, we got to speed up here. We're going really late. Here is the map of all the little white dots you see on your screen here. Let me highlight them a little bit because it's kind of hard to see them. We got Cape Canaveral. There's all of our South Florida cities. Here's the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, Belize, Merida, Tampico, Cabo Rojo, and, of course, Halifax up in here. There's all of our areas that I have on my list in my top 20, so that just gives you a graphic of what I'm expecting this year. Here is the inside these white lines are the areas that I expect to be impacted this year. That does not mean that outside these lines you will not be impacted. If you live in the northern Gulf Coast, you could get slammed. If you live on the Mid-Atlantic, you could get slammed. The Northeast is very tough, and I know Fred always watches these shows from up in Long Island. And I hardly ever have any in the Northeast United States cities in my top 20 because it's so – usually they're never overdue because they always get these weak extra tropical systems flying through there all the time. So they're very rarely ever overdue or due for a storm up there. And I know that sounds crazy because a lot of people in the Northeast will say, oh, we're way overdue, but that's for hurricanes only. This isn't for hurricanes only, this top 20 list. These are for all named storms. But the northeastern United States, there's really not a lot of hurricane history there to go by. There's been a few hurricanes up in the Northeast, been a lot of them in the Mid-Atlantic in here, but not a whole lot up in here. There's been a couple over the years like this, but there's not a rich history to go by to say, there's a pattern or any kind of a pattern you can go at. So the Northeast is really tough to figure, and anybody that living in the Northeast, and that would be New Jersey, Long Island, Massachusetts, which got hammered by tornadoes today, Maine, all these are Rhode Island, all these areas up here. Just be prepared to any given hurricane. All you need to have happen for a system to come up there is have a system turning north like this and have a good Bermuda high sitting here and have a trough racing across the U.S. and the system's just right to take it right up into the Northeast. And you can get hit in any given season. It all depends on the setup at the time that the system is moving north. Like when Isabel was heading towards Bill's area, all that thing would have needed was a little bump from a trough, and it would have headed right up into New York City. That's all it would have taken. So anybody up in the Northeast, just be prepared to any given hurricane season. It's really tough up there. Now, here are my tracks. I know it's kind of hard to see all these, which direction these are, but like I said to Bobby, I could see a late season storm coming through, like just north or over the Keys through South Florida and heading out into the Atlantic. I could see one heading through the Bahama Island chain right into South Florida and right up into the southeastern United States. I could see a recurvature just off the coast of the U.S. heading up into Halifax, Nova Scotia. I could see another system going just northeast of Bermuda and heading up into Halifax. I could see a system heading due west through South Florida and then heading right towards Mexico. I could see a system heading into the Caymans and then hitting Merida, Mexico, where I had one of my picks there in the Yucatan, and heading into Tampico. I could see a southerly route here. Cabo Rojo would get affected. South of Haiti, Jamaica would get plowed, maybe heading into Belize and then into the southern Mexican coastline. So those are all the tracks I'm thinking for this hurricane season. But again, all it would take is a little bump from a high-pressure ridge or something and is sending something right into the mid-Atlantic or the Northeast. So everybody needs to pay attention along the eastern seaboard. Just because I don't have you there doesn't mean you're not at risk this hurricane season. Whoops. Don't want that up there.
It's like a bullseye over Florida on that last map.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and I got too many emails here to read through, but a lot of these people are just sending emails of where to send the prizes that you won tonight. So we really do appreciate all the phone calls. We're running over here. We're going to have to wrap up the show for tonight. So let me get the studio cam going here once again. Derek, thanks for coming up for the show, and good luck this hurricane season, Hollywood, man. I'm telling you, South Florida. And you know what? I will be right, okay? And I'm going to check. Oh, I got to check the question for what to wear if I lose the bet this year. Let me go through some of these emails and see some of these answers people have given me. Let's see what to wear. There's a lot of wish. How about dressing like Tinkerbell? Okay. Somebody has Tinkerbell. I hope people didn't forget to ask this question of me via email. Hurry up and email me, Jim@hurricanecity.com. What should I dress as if I lose the bet that South Florida is going to be affected by a named storm? I'm not going to say hurricane. I'm going to say named storm for South Florida coming within 60 miles, meaning the tropical storm and or hurricane force wind field will come over South Florida in some sort of form, whether it's from the southwest, the east-northeast, the west-southwest. Somehow South Florida is going to be affected. If I lose the bet, I will dress.
It has to be sustained tropical storm force winds. I'm not going to give you that gusting on the HurTrack program. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, but Bonnie last year, you could say that about Bonnie, but it was a bona fide tropical storm, even though it was only 40 miles an hour, and only a few people had a gust of 40 or so.
Oh, that'll tip me off, but you're right.
I'll tell you what, Jim, you said, I got the laptop ready, I got that cam ready, about to buy myself an HD cam. I'm getting ready to storm chase, so I hope you're right on your predictions.
Okay, I'm still going. I'll be ready for you to shoot some live video. Let's see. Having trouble getting through on the phone. Oh, okay. Let's see. This guy says Michael Melanconia says.
Boynton.
Okay, it says dress like a snowman. Dress like a snowman.
How would you do that?
That's what I mean. It would be some plastic-like suit where I wouldn't be able to sit down.
Yeah.
It would have to be made out of cotton or something, like round balls I could put around me to dress like a snowman. I don't know if that would work out.
Michael, did you hear about your city being picked this year?
Okay, this guy, Rob, says dress and drag. That was something we had discussed. Let's see, what else? Energizer Bunny.
Oh, God.
Energizer Bunny. Let's see. Let's see, what else do we have here? Got so many emails to go here. Okay, these are some new ones came in here. Let's see, a banana. We dressed like a banana. Well, we haven't had two of the same yet. I'm looking for somebody to ditto.
Just as a dog. That bulldog, man, I'm telling you.
Tropical storm name retired. Costume. How about Oscar Mayer Wiener?
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's what my sister and my niece was saying, is dressed like a hot dog. Or was that you that said that? No?
No, that wasn't me.
Okay.
You should dress as a Halloween costume or something.
Okay, Nancy's wear Mae West costume.
What?
I don't know, Mae West. I'd have to go back and look at some old photographs, I guess, to dress like that, like a prostitute.
I personally like
dress like a prostitute. If I was going to dress like a prostitute, I want it to be a modern day
football player.
Yeah, the football player, the logo here, this logo up on the sky, could dress like the football player.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to email Jim@hurricanecity.com. What should I dress as if South Florida does not get affected by a named storm this year? And we'll consider it. Anyway, some final thoughts here real quick before we go. Let's start with you, Bill. What do you think? What are your final thoughts to send off the audience tonight?
I just, regardless if you were in the top or not, the predictions are out. The U.S. is at an enhanced risk from a major hurricane this year. We all need to be prepared. This is not the time to get complacent. We should know what hurricanes can do, especially on the Florida Peninsula, and we need to We need to be ready for it. This is get your hurricane kits together, get your and be ready to go, because it's only a matter of time. Hurricanes will come. They will be strong, and statistically, it may not be this year. It may be next year. Your city will eventually be called. Always remember that.
That's right. It hasn't happened. It's coming. The train's coming down the tracks. Just a matter of what year it's going to be, and you just got to pay attention. Any given year, it could be your turn. All right, Derek, what are your? Oh, by the way, Bill, if I don't send you off at the end of the show, I just want to let the audience know Bill does help me with the hurricane warning shows, and we're going to tag team this year on a lot of stuff. So we're going to be up through the night with you, going through the storm and recording everything and giving live updates and everything else. So
we don't sleep during hurricanes. That's our rule. There's always fear.
Especially, I've seen you on screen with some slobber every now and then at 3:00 in the morning. When those things are hitting down there in southern Mexico and like nothing's in English and you're trying to find out information, I've seen that. All right, Derek, what are your thoughts closing out here?
I can't stop laughing, but yeah, I mean, getting serious though, it's going to be. We all know it's going to be a neutral hurricane season, and all the key messages just to be prepared no matter what the Enzo is. But I find neutral hurricane seasons, and we were there with Mark Sudduth. He agreed with us as well that neutral hurricane seasons do have a tendency of seeing more U.S. landfalls, and the Caribbean as well.
2005 was neutral. Remember
That's right. 2004 and 05 were neutral. We saw more landfalls on the U.S., especially Florida. So, and Jim has Florida all over the list this year. So we'll see what happens. And everywhere in the hurricane zone again, like I said on the top of the show, be prepared.
Okay, a few more emails. Let's go ahead and let's make the decision right now. How am I going to dress at the end of this hurricane season?
Bulldog.
Hot dog. Rob Jones likes hot dog. Dressed like Tinkerbell or in drag. That's Hannah Marshall said that. Let's see. Answer to costume: Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory or plucked chicken. Well, we've already done the chicken thing. Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I don't really watch that show. My wife watches that all the time. Chris, the alligator.
Well, Florida is the alligator. Florida's the alligator.
That'd be a pretty cool costume, dressed as an alligator. Jonathan says Energizer Bunny, Tinkerbell, Chuck Norris, or Oscar Mayer Wiener. The Oscar Mayer Wiener thing seems to be getting some
dressed as a hamburger.
Yep. Dress as SpongeBob.
Yeah, there you go.
John Stokes.
Patrick or SpongeBob.
You dress like SpongeBob. Let's see, SpongeBob. There's another person, SpongeBob. I second the hot dog.
Bill, what do you think?
I like the hot dog.
Yeah.
Okay, the most popular was the hot dog, the Tinkerbell thing or whatever came up a couple times. Let's go with the hot dog.
You guys don't want the bulldog? Come on.
I don't know. I'd have to see that costume you're talking about. I don't know. It seems like it would be so big and bulky. Like I don't
Make
know.
It smaller. I don't know.
I probably couldn't even fit through the door with that thing on. Huh?
I said you got to suffer.
Well, I know that, but I mean, I got to be able to fit inside the door first to get in here. I mean, hot dog. At least a hot dog. It looks like I don't know if I could sit with a hot dog suit on. I love the alligator idea. I just don't know if that would be like something you could wear.
Yeah.
I could actually skin one alive and use the hide and put it over me. All right. Wait a minute. Here's some more emails that just came in. Let's see. 30 yes. What's wrong with the chicken suit? Free song like the chicken suit. I just can't. It's getting stale. The chicken suit. It's like
change it up.
All right, let's go with hot dog. I'm going to dress as a hot dog this year. If South Florida does not get affected by a name storm this year, I will dress as a hot dog here on November 30th. All right, we got to wrap it up, folks.
Chicken suit, by the way. We've both done that.
Yeah, the chicken suit's done. It's in the box, and I'll save it for a rainy day or something. But it's a hot dog suit for November 30th. All right, folks, that's it for now. It's 10:30, June 1st. Good luck this hurricane season. We'll be thinking about you. We'll be watching. We'll be covering it when your area is getting hit. No matter where you are, if it's a hurricane, we'll be on it. We'll be covering it. We'll record it for our archive subscribers. Again, sign up if you're not already signed up to be an archive subscriber. It's like a donation, basically. You don't even have to watch the videos, but it's like, pennies on the day to donate. It's like 2 trips through the McDonald's drive-thru for a year's worth of videos. They would have to edit all those down and make them really watchable for people. Like, we could record like 4 hours of hurricane stuff and only come up with like 30 minutes of really good stuff to put out there on video. So it's a lot of work editing those down and filming everything. And we're going to be out mobily this year. Derek's going to be out mobily filming if South Florida's hit. I'm going to be out mobily filming, and I'm going to have the new IP cam and all the other IP cams that we're aware of for the live feed. So we're going to be monitoring a lot of webcams this year.
Also, what I was thinking is I might develop a second Ustream channel.
Right.
One for the cam on the roof and the one for the laptop.
Right.
The cam. So
that's
that
the
way
to do it. Yeah.
Either you or Bill will stream those cams.
Right.
That's exactly how we'll
that's
do
the way. That's what we're doing. You have 2 streams running, and we'll be able to cover 2 different angles of it. So. And plus, we're going to be using Mark Sudduth again this year with his mobile cams he's going to have out there. So we're going to have a lot of stuff to tap into, and we're going to be excited about covering hurricanes this year. All right, you guys, we got to call it a night. Thanks again, Bill, for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
As always, Jim, good luck to everyone this season, and we'll be here to do it.
All right, and Derek, have a safe trip back home. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching in, and take care, everybody.